Tonight, it's a marquee matchup on the mound. Sonny Gray takes the hill in Detroit. The Athletics ace has picked up right where he left off last year when he finished third in the Cy Young voting. His stuff is some of the best in the American League, and he will look to build off a solid start last Friday in Toronto. A's nemesis Justin Verlander gets the ball for Detroit. The former Cy Young winner is always tough on the green and gold. The four-game series continues tonight in the Motor City. A's, Tigers, next. It is another very chilly night in Detroit. We are at Comerica Park for Game 3 of this four-game series. Each team has won a game in the series so far, and we got a fun pitching matchup tonight. Justin Verlander for the Tigers and Sonny Gray for the A's. So A's, Tigers, Game 3 coming up right here on CSN California. Hey again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball here on CSN. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Sonny Gray will be looking for his fourth win of the year. And Ray, I think what's great about Sonny, even at a very young age, he's already evolving as a pitcher. We're starting to see more ground ball outs from him.
You know, that's the best part about him, but also he can get strikeouts when he needs them, especially with a curveball that's right over the top. You used to call it a drop, 12-6, and the catcher really has to be on his toes. The Toronto Blue Jays were not on their toes. Fastball there, but then he goes to the curveball. He started fooling a lot of hitters using the curveball, stayed in the game, picked up the win. But you look at the devastating curveball, it really puts a lot of effort on the catcher to make sure that he keeps the ball down. They have to block the ball, catch it when necessary. But you're right, he is a great pitcher because when he wants to strike out, he can get it, but he's a ground ball pitcher, and that's what he likes.
For Justin Verlander, he'll be making his fifth start of the year. His last start was his best. He had 10 strikeouts in 7 innings. He still lost the game 2-1, but it's still in there for Verlander, but he just probably doesn't throw quite as hard as he used to.
He has become a pitcher. That's the pitch right there, the high fastball that he still possesses. He wants to go to the corner. He has the curveball and the changeup. He is a pitcher. You get older, you lose a little bit of velocity. You have to become a smarter pitcher, and I think that's what Justin Verlander does. You cannot say that he's going to be a bad pitcher. He will find a way to beat you. He'll find a way to come up with some good pitches, and he is a very good pitcher and has been throughout his career.
Yeah, no question. This is a marquee matchup. Sonny Gray and Justin Verlander in Game 3 of this four-game series here in Detroit. Stick around. Up next, we'll head back inside the A's pregame live studios and then back to Comerica. Lineups and first pitch. Should be a good one tonight. A's and the Tigers.
Baseball on CSN California. A's Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the Baconlicious Sourdough Bacon Ranch Combo, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Game 3 of the series just about set to get underway. The A's and the Tigers from Comerica Park here in downtown Detroit. Let's check the game time weather for today. It's presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Boardwalk is open. Visit beachboardwalk.com for park hours. 54 degrees and breezy, so another chilly night here in Detroit. A day game tomorrow. There's supposed to be some rain in the morning, so hopefully that will pass through for the day game. And then we can head on home.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
That would be a beautiful thing. Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Oakland Athletics. Starts with Coco Crisp. Coco's going to be in center field tonight. Then Chris Coughlin at third, Josh Reddick in right. Chris Davis will be in left, Jed Lowry's at second. Billy Butler in the lineup, and look at the numbers for Butler against Verlander.
What's that?
That's great numbers, so that is a matchup to watch. Verlander against Butler. Alonso will play first, and Fegley's your catcher, and Marcus Semien is your shortstop.
All those years that Verlander faced Butler with the Kansas City Royals, and Justin Verlander tonight, his 5th start, 1-2 record for the right-hander. And I think we detailed it quite a bit during our open, because he may not throw as hard as he once did, although he can occasionally get it up to mid-90s. But he is a very smart pitcher, tries to utilize the sinker to get ground ball outs, and being the veteran that he is, he's been with the Tigers his whole career, he's put up great numbers, and probably will spend his entire career here.
Upton, Goes, and Martinez in the outfield for Detroit. Castellanos, Iglesias, Kinsler, and Cabrera on the infield, and Bobby Wilson is your catcher.
They have a whole bunch of Wilsons on this club.
Yeah, they do.
A couple of pitchers, catchers. They all have initials on the back.
First pitch of the ball game is a fastball for a strike to Coco Crisp. Coco at 204, couple of home runs and 5 RBIs. And he is 0 for 7 in this series. He does have a sacrifice fly. Coco Crisp has done well against Verlander. 10 for 27 with a home run. So Coco with lots of at-bats against Verlander and Billy Butler. Castellanos step onto the grass at third, and that one's grounded toward first. Nice hop for Cabrera. One away here in the top of the first. And that'll bring up Chris Coughlin, your umpires tonight. That's Marty Foster calling balls and strikes. Mike Malinsky, Mike Winters, and Mark Wagner, Winters the crew chief. So 4-game series, each one of those gentlemen will get a shot behind the plate, calling balls and strikes.
Well, Chris Coughlin last night felt he was robbed. You know, when we were looking at his shot to left field, he thought he had hit it so far that it's no chance that Upton could get to it. And I agree with you. When the ball was hit, I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did, and yet Upton had it hit off the heel of his glove, brought it down, made a great acrobatic catch, and Chris Colligan was not too happy.
0-2 to Coghlan. Overall 169, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs.
He said he wanted to tackle Upton for robbing him. And I said, well, you know, Torrey Hunter had Barry Bonds grab him. He said, that wasn't fun. I was serious.
That's true. That one's hit well to right. Martinez back, though. He's got room. Step onto the warning track, and he's got it.
Now, Coghlan does have some pop, and you've mentioned the home runs that he hit last year for the Cubs, and he has power to the opposite field. He opened up on a pitch inside from Verlander and hit it to the warning track in right field. So he uses the whole field, and if he's really smart, he'll do what he did last night to left field, tonight to right field, and forget about center field because it's very, very deep to center.
2 outs for Reddick. Reddick off to a pretty good start this year. The batting average at .292. He's got 4 home runs, and he's got 11 RBIs. 5 for 8 in this series. Shift is on. And that one way down and in and to the backstop. Reddick 9 hits in his last 17 at bats. Verlander long look in. Now he's ready. Close pitch, called the ball.
Yeah, Bobby Wilson, the veteran, catching him, and already has taken a few times to go through signs before Verlander. Verlander is basically calling his own game, and just hope as a catcher to put down the fingers and the sign that he wants.
On the infield and in the air. Iglesias, the shortstop, grabs it right near second base. Side retired. Verlander has a 3 up, 3 down, top of the first inning. Now, see what Sonny Gray can do against this lineup for the Tigers. Kinsler, J.D. Martinez, Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Justin Upton, Castellanos, Iglesias, Wilson, and Goes. Tigers lineup.
Sonny Gray off to a good start this season as his record is 3-1, coming off a victory against the Blue Jays in Toronto. And for Sonny last year, he had 8 shutout innings against the Tigers. That was the Coliseum. Also a no decision in 2014. Of course, he's had a couple of appearances in postseason against the Tigers, but all in all, a very good pitcher and still very young. A's have him under control for a few more years. Continues to pitch well. Great curveball we showed on our open, in addition to a good sinker for ground ball outs, and he's got the whole package, and he pitches well.
And he'll face Kinsler. Kinsler was not in the starting lineup in game 1 of this series on Monday. He was in there last night, and he had a couple of hits. Up to a very fine start. Kinsler, .342 the batting average with 4 homers and 12 RBIs. Batting average is 4th best, make it 3rd best in the American League. In the first strike, get a quick 0-2.
We talked last night about Rich Hill pitching only to Stephen Vogt. 5 starts, 5 times Stephen's been behind the plate and gives him a lot of credit. But for Josh Phegley, he caught Sonny Gray's 1st and 3rd, Stephen Vogt 2nd and 4th. So the two have pretty much have the games against or pitching Sonny Gray. So they're both very familiar with Sonny Gray.
Interesting numbers there. The breakdown. A little jam shot. Bounces off the top of the A's dugout into the hands of a fan in the first row. So the ERA with Phegley and the ERA with Stephen Vogt.
Oh, regardless who's behind the plate, they better get accustomed to blocking the curveball in the dirt, because that is his best pitch. He doesn't want to leave it up to where it's going to be a hanger. Keep it down low like that. Block it. Throw him out at first.
So Kinsler strikes out, and let's get a look at the A's defense tonight. It'll be Davis, Crisp, and Reddick in the outfield. Coghlan, Simeon, Lowry, and Alonso on the infield. And as we said, Josh Phegley is behind the plate tonight. Tigers won on Monday night 7-3. A's won last night 5-1. Swing and a miss by J.D. Martinez.
You know, some hitters do not want to get a couple of strikes and have to worry about a pitcher's split finger fastball. Martinez just struck at a pitch maybe out of the strike zone, but fastball. Curveball from Sonny, as Kinsler saw it, is a very, very good one. Tough to hit. So maybe they'll swing at any fastball they see, regardless of the location.
1-1 the count to Martinez at 278. Couple of home runs. Martinez hit 5th in the lineup the first 2 games in the series, sliding up to the 2nd spot tonight. .93 with a little cutting action.
Really, it's tough for any catcher to catch him because of the pitches. You might call one and you hope to get something close to what you called, but it may be something different. As you say, a catcher has his work cut out for him when Sonny is pitching.
Good take there by Martinez.
Interesting sign for a curveball, 5.
He's got 5 pitches.
Yeah. Usually it's 2. It's a fastball away.
And it's down and away, and it's a walk.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game. Well, the A's saw the Tigers' best on Monday at Jordan Zimmerman, and of course I think the Tigers are seeing the A's best tonight in Sonny Gray. So we'll see if that turns out to be what is expected. And for Rich Hill, what he did last night, the A's needed a starter to be a stopper, and Rich Hill did exactly that. 7 solid innings, striking out 8. So Sonny Gray follows Rich Hill and trying to continue what Rich did last night in stopping the losing streak, and for Sonny Gray tonight, try to pick up his 2nd career win against the Tigers.
Here's Cabrera. Cabrera got a pitch to hit there, fouls it back. Cabrera at 254, 3 homers, 10 RBIs.
Sonny was spectacular against the Tigers last season, 8 shutout innings, 100 pitches and just a couple of hits. Runners did not get beyond first base. A couple years ago, though, the big guy, Miguel, took him deep with a fastball inside, hit it on the left field line. Also had an RBI single against Sonny and a no decision.
Still hear the groan of the crowd at the Coliseum. Cabrera's home run in the playoffs, Game 5. Behind in the count 0-2 with Victor Martinez in the on-deck circle. Fegley knocks it down.
I didn't want to talk about this one, Kite, but this was a big blow against Sonny Gray and the Athletics at the Coliseum. That was a fastball and tried to go inside, left it too much, and at that point, with Verlander pitching postseason, you figure that was it. And it was a game that the A's took it to Game 5. Here's Torrey Hunter, but it was a big blow in the game. But the fastball just did not get inside to him, and we have seen where Miguel Cabrera is so quick inside, you make a mistake, and as it turned out in that particular game, was the game winner.
That was a fastball in, and Cabrera fouls it back. Count stays 1-2.
Yeah, that's combined regular and postseason. August 10th, 2013, first start, Major League start. So that one we talked about with the guys in San Francisco, the studio, about never forget the one when he buzzed Torrey Hunter and then just struck him out when Torrey tried to get in his head.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner.
The great curveball, but watch Josh Fegley. The pitch was supposed to be away, but sometimes catching the ball can get you a strike. Fegley framed it, and I mean caught it exactly in the strike zone. If he had taken it away from the plate, it could have been called a ball. It had the height, it had everything, but Fegley caught it perfectly, and Cabrera is a strikeout victim.
So 2 outs, and here's the switch hitter Victor Martinez. He's had a good series, 4 for 8. Had good numbers to start, 295, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. Also has 6 doubles. One of them was last night.
Home run he hit following Miguel Cabrera on Monday night against Kendall Graveman. It was a changeup, and I asked Kendall, I said, you think he's looking for it? He said, absolutely, because the first pitch fastball, he took it. And he said didn't even offer at it, but yet the changeup on the next pitch. And remember his first at bat, Victor flew out to right field on a changeup. Fooled a little bit on that one, but definitely not on the home run. So hitters remember how they make out and pitches that they think a pitcher might go to try to get him out.
And that hits Martinez. So Martinez, after he walks this one off, he'll head to first base, but he's in some pain right now.
Now that missed his protection. Got him right on the right foot. Maybe on the instep, but there's no protection where he got hit. But he is going to be all right. Oh, got him on the toes. Oof.
Felt that one up here.
What a 54-degree night.
Yeah.
Definitely going to feel it.
Well, he's not feeling all that great right now. So a little rally here for the Tigers. 2 on, 2 out for Justin Upton, who hitting a little bit down in the order. He's down compared to where he was. He was hitting second first 2 games in this series. Tonight hitting in the 5th spot. On the outside corner for a strike. Slow start for Upton. Hitting .208 with a homer and 4 RBIs. Game number 20 for the Tigers. And it's still very early, and when it's all said and done, Upton will put up good numbers. But when you're a huge free agent signing.
Good block by Josh Fegley with a curveball. Put the glove catcher's mitt on the ground and kept it in front of him. Keeps the force out in order. You know, we're hearing more and more about players, position players changing leagues. Yeah. Pitchers don't seem to have a problem, but hitters seem to be taking a little bit of time when they change league, even though there's a lot of interleague play going on now.
you just don't want the fans to start moaning and groaning a little bit about you when it's your first year there. And he's a very good player.
And in reality, on Monday night, when Zimmerman, the ball dropped in front of Collins in center field, it was Upton who actually dropped the ball.
Yeah.
He had it in his glove, picked it up, and then dropped it again. So while the fans were booing, maybe Collins said they're booing him and not me.
Well, I think they were booing both guys.
Exactly.
And not just Tyler Collins. Tyler Collins, who made the gesture toward the crowd, he was set down today.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of that, but Francisco Rodriguez is back, the closer for the Tigers. He was on medical family leave, so he was gone for 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, the Tigers have their closer back. Good take by Upton on a sharp breaking ball from Sonny Gray. So it's becoming a stress inning for Gray. 23 pitches, and the count is full. So the two Martinez will take off.
Oh, we saw last night when Stephen Vogt with Rich Hill called 2 different times, 3-2 count through the curveball, froze the hitters for strike 3. See if Fegler goes back to curveball against Upton. He's got to be sitting dead red with a fastball.
And he got it. Up and out over the plate.
This happened on Monday. Jordan Zimmerman, and he didn't see it. But then once he did, watch Upton comes over. He picked it up, dropped it. Didn't think he had it. Simeon, instead of being a second, was able to get to third on the air by, as it turned out, Upton. And then he said hello to all the fans in attendance.
Three-two pitch, a shot, knocked down. Lowry finds it, throws to first in time. Side retired. Couple of runners stranded for the Tigers. We're through 1. No score, A's and Tigers. On CSN California is brought to you by AAA. What does your insurance do when it's not doing insurance? It should do more. Go to AAA.com for details. No score, top of the second, Verlander and Gray. Good pitching matchup. And it'll be Davis, Lowry, and Butler for the A's against the 33-year-old Verlander. First pitch down and away. Verlander is in his 11th year in the big leagues. And he has a very fine career record of 158 and 99. That's pretty good.
Remember, he signed a huge contract. Then Felix, Scherzer, and they all started to follow just a little bit more after him.
Davis swings and misses. 323 career starts. And a couple of no-hitters. And he's been close about 4 other times. A little bit outside, 2-1. 2011 was the year he won the MVP and the Cy Young. Not too shabby.
Not a good thing to say, though, that when you pitch a no-hitter, you're going to match or pass Nolan Ryan, who threw 7. It's not that easy. Nolan seemed to make it easy, but he had a lot of one-hitters. No-hitters broken up late in games.
Chris Davis, good swing. Skies one foul. So 2-2 the count. Verlander started the year on the disabled list. He went on the disabled list very early in the season last year, and he was on it for quite a while. And he came back in the middle of June. He ended up pitching well in the second half. Tigers liked what they saw. His ERA was under 3 in the second half. He's been very durable over the years, but did miss a fair amount of time last season. Kicks and deals the 2-2. And this one's popped up to first. Cabrera is under it. And that is out number 1. Here's our McDonald's true stories. Has to do with Verlander, and he was tough on the A's in the postseason. Game 5, ALDS in both 2012 and 2013. Verlander, well, he took it to the house, beat the A's both times. 2012, he went 9 innings, 122 pitches. The next year, he went 8 innings, 111 pitches. It did not allow a run in either game. And he struck out 11 in one of the games and 10 in the other. So, tip your cap there.
But he's a big game pitcher. When it came down to that, just like when we showed the Cabrera home run in Game 5, once that happened, you almost had to match zeros with him and hope. But he was going to stay in the game, and Jim Leyland was going to let him stay. Sonny got the start at 13. Yep. People thought it was going to be Bartolo Colon, but it was Sonny.
Lowry lays off that high fastball. The numbers for Lowry, 301 with 11 RBIs. Lowry has 3 hits in the series, 3 for 8. And now the count 2-2. The contract that Ray's talking about, Verlander, it goes through 2019, and it was a 5-year extension. He already had a pretty big contract, and then he got an extension on top of that. An extension goes from 2015 to 2019, so this is the second year of that. High fastball, Lowry could not hold up. So 2 outs. So the big season was 2011. And since then, still pretty good numbers. Maybe just not quite as dominant, although you look at the strikeouts per 9 innings, that's down just a shade. It looks pretty sharp early on in this one.
Yeah.
The Butler matchup with Verlander that we showed you when we gave you the A's lineup. 34 for 84 is Billy Butler in his career against Verlander. That's a 405 batting average. It's a month's worth of at-bats.
Yeah. Big pinch hit on Monday night to right center.
I don't know that I've you know, we always look at the pitcher batter matchups, and guys have, you know, 10, 15, 30 at bats for it. 84 at bats against one pitcher, same division for a long time.
May see that with Mike Trout against Sonny Gray.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, because of the 19 times playing the Angels in your same division.
So the guys that have the best numbers in their career against Verlander: Salvador Perez, Billy Butler, and then Maicias Chiriz, who retired earlier this year. Denard Span, Jeter and Mauer down at the bottom. 3-2. Butler a couple of home runs and 15 RBIs to complete the numbers against Verlander. Payoff pitch, here it is. And it runs in under the hands of Butler, and he swings and misses. 3 up, 3 down inning with a couple of strikeouts for Verlander. Bottom of the second coming up. Score between the A's and the Tigers. It'll be Castellanos, Iglesias, and Bobby Wilson. 3 right-handed hitters against Sonny Gray. 25 pitches in that first inning for Sonny. He ended up stranding a couple of runners.
Thought Bob Melvin's comment about Rich Hill last night after Rich struggled, actually threw 26 pitches the first inning. He doubted he could go 7, which he did. It's a question whether he could even go 6, but Rich Hill, a great job in the 8 strikeouts. He did go 7 innings, left with a 5-0 lead.
First pitch to the Tigers' third baseman is a swing and a miss. Castellanos is 2 for 7 in the series. Tigers come in with a 9-10 record. They have lost 5 of their last 6. They're 3-6 here at home. Good pitch there, called a strike at the knees. Fegley sets up inside, and that one is drilled toward left center, and that's going to get down, and that's going to be in the gap, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Castellanos hits the bag at second. He's going to try for third. Here comes the throw, light, and it's a leadoff triple.
On a location of the fastball, Fegley inside, right down the middle. When a hitter hits a ball that hard on 0-2, you know the location is not exactly where you wanted it. And he just painted the fastballs away, and they're shading him to right center. So really, Castellanos went and beat the defensive shift kind of to right field. And that's why this triple was on his own. As the ball was in front of him, he saw that it was a long run for Coco to get to the ball. Long strides, able to get to third easily.
Infield in for Iglesias.
Strange, isn't it? This early.
Pitchers duel.
That's right. Pitchers duel and at the 8th and 9th place hitters, and try to get a ground ball in the infield, which he's a ground ball pitcher. Even better, get a strikeout on the two batters.
And it's 0-2 to Jose Iglesias, who did not like that call.
Same pitch that Cabrera struck out on, and Fagley looked like he was crossed up as he went down, and then made a nice catch on it. Did not go to talk to Sonny Gray, but that was scary. And there's not a runner at second, so it's only one sign.
That one bounced to Lowry. Runner will hold. Out number 1. Here's our Ford Right choice. Game 2 of the 2013 Division Series against these Tigers. It was kind of the coming out party for Sonny Gray. 8 innings, no runs, 9 strikeouts, and 111 pitches. Now, he got a no decision in that game, but remember that was the game that Stephen Vogt won it on a walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th. He's won that game 1-0.
Porcello got a base hit to left field. But that's the game that Torrey Hunter stepped out and started yelling at Sonny, and Sonny was just very cool and calm. And I think at that point, the coming out, as you said, we knew he was going to be a pretty good pitcher because he didn't panic. Torrey Hunter's trying to get in his head, and he just blew him away the fastball. Salto Lamacchio, the night off tonight. Of course, the day game tomorrow. Bobby Wilson, the veteran, getting the job of catching tonight. McCann, the young catcher, twisted his ankle. He's out on his rehab assignment. He's probably going to be back pretty soon.
1-0 to Wilson. Outside now 2-0. So those highlights, game 2, Sonny was great. And then he pitched game 5. He pitched okay, but gave up that home run we showed you to Cabrera, and that was the big blow. He ended up going 5 innings and gave up 3 earned runs. And he broke his hand in that game. Remember, comebacker?
Yeah, that's right.
Way outside, 3-0. That's quite a series.
Well, the most memorable, even though the A's lost, to see the fans at the Coliseum in Game 5 of the 2012 Division Series, and Tigers won Verlander, but the A's fans cheered the A's. The Tigers couldn't believe it. And what is it they said? That crowd at the Coliseum helped them when they went to New York because they could deal with the crowd in New York because the fans were so good, great in Oakland.
3-1 to Bobby Wilson. Anthony Goes, a left-handed hitter, waits in the on-deck circle, and it's a walk. So second walk issued. So those are the matchup numbers. They squared off in games 2 and game 5 in 2013. Man, both pitched great.
Okay, if you remember that, you see games 2 and 5. Max Scherzer started game 1. Verlander had 2, and there was a off day in game 4. Scherzer was able to come in relief with the bases loaded, nobody out here in game 4, and the Tigers ended up winning the game. A's were up 2-1 at the time. Went back to Oakland, and that was it. So now with the speed of Ghosts, they're going to play back for 2. But Sonny Gray still walking Bobby Wilson probably is not what was in the plan. They're hopeful that he would put the ball in play like Iglesias did, maybe hit the ball on the ground in the infield or get a strikeout. Now they have to play for 2.
Goes at 184. And the first pitch is a bit high. Goes was 1 for 3 last night, was not in the lineup on Monday night. And a lot of signs being thrown out there. Dave Clark is the third base coach. Now he takes steps over to Castellanos, whispers something in his ear. Strike called, 1-1. Coughlin is playing even with the bag down at third.
Castellanos is watching Dave Clark give the signs, yet Clark has to tell him verbally, I guess, what he's doing. Hard to remind him.
A little bit outside.
Clark down the line. Castellanos looking at him. So I'm going to give the signs, then I'm going to walk up and I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm doing.
Never seen that before.
I have not either. Yeah, Castellanos might as well just keep his back to him.
And now it's 3-1. Sonny snaps the ball back with his glove. The one he's probably frustrated about is walking Bobby Wilson. Yeah. Although you get a double play situation, but as you said, Goes is very fast.
Yeah, that's it. And it has to be a hard hit ball to somebody, especially preferably up the middle to one of the middle infielders. Speed is not at first here, it's at the plate.
Late time called by Goes. .40 pitches for Sonny Gray already. He stranded 2 in the first, and the Tigers have 2 runners on in the second. Kinsler will be next, and the pitch is hit hard, just foul. So now a full count. Would they send Bobby Wilson, even though he does not run real well?
Depends how much confidence they have in Anthony Goes to put the ball in play. Because if it would be a strikeout, it would surely be a strike him out, throw him out. Because Wilson, if he runs, it would be to try to stay out of a possible double play. Fegley has a very strong arm, and he will need help from his dugout because he really can't see Bobby Wilson at first. He'll have to listen to his dugout tell him that he is running, if he does run.
He is not, and it's tapped slowly. Lowry juggles. He'll throw to second, and they just get the out there. Run comes in to score. That's Castellanos. And the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
That's not the base.
Deserves some credit. He knew who was running
exactly.
at first.
And maybe also realize that, see if Bobby Wilson has to slow down a little bit. Yep, right there. And I asked Jed Lowry because Monday night, remember, he was thrown out at second base also. I mean, Ghost can run. They were not going to double him up on a slow hit ball. But Lowry was at first base on a similar ball, and there was a play at second by Aviles. And I think Jed saw that Bobby Wilson had to avoid being hit by the ball, and so he knew he had to slow down, had plenty of time to get him a second.
So Kinsler steps in. Keep an eye on Goes. Goes a serious base stealing threat. He had 23 steals last year, and he's got a pretty good lead at first. Inches off a little further. And another strike. Kinsler can't believe it, and it's 0-2.
Now the combination of the quickness of Sonny Gray and the strong arm of Josh Fegley, that's going to keep a lot of base runners from trying to steal. Goes might try now with a couple of strikes with the leadoff hitter up. So is the possibility thrown out. You have Kinsler leading off, but Sonny is so quick with his delivery, and that really helps the catcher.
Goes got a little lean. And that one is taken low. So the count 1-2. So a run in here for the Tigers. Castellanos opened the inning with a triple. Found the gap in left center field. Kinsler struck out swinging in the first, one of 2 strikeouts for Sonny.
was running. And that's the quick throw over to first base by Sonny Gray. That's a quick footwork. This is how quick, and Goes had taken a step towards second, and Alonso applying a quick tag.
Well, there's such thing as making a good throw on a pickoff too.
That's right.
To pick somebody off when they're diving back, you really have to make a great throw location-wise, and that was a good throw by Sonny Gray. "25 pitches in the first inning, 21 pitches here in the second inning for Gray. Hit Kinsler, so the count now full.
Well, last night we saw a defensive swing. This time, though, the bat did not go through the hitting zone, and as a result, Kinsler not called out on the strike. And you're right, ball came up and in. This at bat started 0-2. And even the 0-2 pitch to Castellanos ended up with a triple. So Sonny Gray just not at his best tonight location-wise.
Runner takes off, and Kinsler dribbles it foul behind Fegley. So we'll do it again. Goes, heads back to first base. Straight up on the defense for Kinsler. Goes, takes off, and again a foul ball right back to the screen. Nothing easy tonight for Sonny Gray, even though it's only the second inning. Kinsler watches that one drop low, and that's a pretty good at-bat for Ian Kinsler. So 3 walks for Sonny Gray here in first 2 innings.
It's got to be frustrating for the skipper, because when Sonny Gray takes the mound as a manager, you're thinking, going to get a quality start. And now he looks up on the board and he already sees 50 pitches in the second inning. Rich Hill going 7 innings last night. 1 inning by Doolittle, 1 inning by Axford. So the bullpen is well rested. But you don't even want to think about that at this part of the game.
And you don't have an off day till next Thursday.
That's right.
First pitch to J.D. Martinez, a bit high. Martinez walked in the first inning. First pitch strikes, 8 out of 11, so that's pretty good. But Mr. Kinsler at bat is kind of the way it's been. Jump ahead 0-2. 1-1 now to Martinez. Martinez was 0 for 4 on Monday, and he was 0 for 4 last night. Curve, and it just missed inside.
Well, it's close, but came around the plate. Fegley, see, that time the palm was facing towards the hitter instead of bringing the palm towards the plate. Although that pitch definitely was off the plate inside. Pace of game's not good.
It is not good. No. Martinez hits one high in the air, right center, hit well. Coco near the wall, and it is gone. 4-0 Tigers on a 3-run homer by J.D. Martinez.
Wow. Well, this is a big park. Did not think he's going to go out, but it's a pretty good pitch to hit. He swung at one and missed it. Sonny Gray, that look of maybe he thought it was going to travel as well as it did. Coco plays deep, thought he had a chance to get to it, just ran out of room. And that is a long shot opposite field with Sonny Gray providing the power. But the walks have hurt in this inning.
Here's Cabrera. Cabrera shoots one toward the A's dugout. Well, that's where Miguel Cabrera hits him. Deep right center field, and boy, the outfield gets really big in deep right center field here. But it did not keep J.D. Martinez in the ballpark. 1-1 now to Cabrera, who struck out looking in the first. So now 57 pitches for Sonny. .32 in this inning. Still think, Ray, that Bobby Wilson walk is the one that kind of hurt, and nothing against Bobby Wilson, but he's a guy that I'm sure Sonny's going to say, I got to get him out. He's the 8th place hitter.
That's right. He's a veteran catcher, but he's, you know, he came in all zeros because he hasn't caught that much, and really he's only here because McCann's on the DL. But you're right, you get to that part. That's why they were playing the infield in after the triple by Castellanos, which also was on an 0-2 fastball. Let's get the big out with Iglesias hitting a ground ball to second base, and then Bobby Wilson walked.
Payoff pitch is high, and the inning continues. 4 walks now in the game for Gray, 3 of them in this inning. So now it has really become kind of a nightmare inning. 35 pitches, 4 runs, and 3 walks in this inning alone. Up steps Victor Martinez. He's the 8th man to bat in the inning. Martinez waves that bat out in front. He takes high. There is now action out in the A's bullpen. And Ryan Dull getting loose. Ouch.
That's right, a big ouch. Well, Sonny Gray, in his 4 previous starts before tonight, he'd walked 4, 3, 1, and 3. And last year, there's only a couple of times that he walked 4. He had that one game in Texas when he walked 7, but still won. So he is tonight, or at least this year, not as sharp with the pitches that thought the curveballs in the first inning when he struck out a couple, and good play by Jed Lowry on a fastball that was hit hard by Upton. Thought that might get him settled in, but this inning has been a nightmare.
Well, Sonny may have games where he's not quite as sharp, but you do not see extended innings and crooked numbers against Sonny Gray very often. Certainly not 4 in an inning. So 2-0 to Victor Martinez. He was sitting on a fastball and he got it. Hit it hard, but foul. All right. Happy guy down the right field line.
Okay, if this game keeps going long enough, it may rain.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
Rain late tonight, tomorrow, but
in there for a strike.
you know, these are the tough times for a pitching coach and a manager because you have your ace on the mound, and you don't want to chuck it in too soon. But you can also be able to determine that maybe it's just not his night. You don't want the game to get too far out of hand by leaving him in. So a decision really has to be made pretty soon. That's why Ryan Dole is loosening up.
Have a half swing, slow roller. Lowry charges quickly to first, and they just got him. Side retired. A 40-pitch inning for Sonny Gray, and J.D. Martinez with a 3-run homer.
Rapid Deal Days presented by Bartable. $5 Rapid Deal Day tickets are still available for the May 3rd game against the Mariners. That's next Tuesday, which is also a Chevy free parking Tuesday. Visit athletics.com/bar today to get your tickets now. Mariners playing good baseball as they're hosting the Houston Astros. Is that a night game or they play this afternoon? Can't remember because they have an off day tomorrow. Probably
the Astros, game. I think it's a night. Yeah,
probably
it's
a night game. Yeah. So they will have the off day tomorrow while the A's are playing here, and then they will meet each other for the first time on Friday night. A lot of great things happened at the Coliseum over the weekend.
So Verlander has a 4-0 lead. So a shutdown inning opportunity for Verlander as he faces Alonso, Fegley, and Simeon.
Now the A's just need to remember 2013 late in August when in a 4-game series here at Comerica Park facing Sanchez, Verlander, Pfister, and Scherzer. And not one starting pitcher got out of the 5th inning. Although if Sonny doesn't pitch better, may turn the table tonight on him. But that was an unbelievable series that the A's ended up winning 3 out of 4, and except for a walk-off home run by Torrey Hunter in Game 4, the Thursday game, the A's could have swept them in the 4-game series. They were playing well then.
Not close. 3-1 to Alonso. Alonso had 167 with 3 RBIs. And he lays off, and it's a leadoff walk. So first walk issued and the first base runner for the Athletics. And here comes Fegley.
And that's something the A's have to be conscious of, as Alonso got all the pitches up and out of the zone, except for one that was a strike. But the 4 bad ones were all high, and Verlander just was not finishing with his delivery, staying with all fastballs.
So Fegley getting the start tonight. First pitch down and away. Fegley making his 7th start of the year tonight. This is game number 22 for the A's.
See the mustache he's starting to grow, Fegley?
Little one, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Get her going.
Verlander's going the full-out beard, but Fegley's got a little mustache.
And this one hit in the air, shallow right center. It's a long run for everybody involved, and it's going to be Martinez who gets there. Time now for our Geico quote of the game. Rich Hill on last night's win versus the Tigers. It's all about getting ahead, staying ahead, keeping the ball down in the zone, being able to throw the fastball for strikes, mixing in the curveball, changeup, and slider at the right time. It's a lot of credit to what Stephen Vogt has been able to do, because his perspective is different from what I see. They're looking in opposite directions.
Well, he also said Stephen Vogt, not Steve, but he likes to call him Steve.
Steve Vogt?
Yeah, Steve Vogt.
Doesn't sound the same. Steve Vogt.
Just called him Steve. But he says Stephen Vogt, or Steve Vogt.
Steamboat?
I tell you, Vogt's not afraid to call the curveballs, as he did last night, especially on 3 and 2. And you know, it's really a comfort for a pitcher to be able to look in and be on the same page with the catcher. And as Rich Hill said, I'd be thinking of a certain pitch, I'd look in, and Stephen Vogt's calling that one.
Also asked Rich Hill today, Ray, about the Miguel Cabrera timeout, strike 3 call. And he said Cabrera asked for time verbally, because he could see him standing on the pitcher's mound, asked for it. He just was not granted.
And some of the scouts mentioned and said, you think that Cabrera was trying to slow Rich Hill down, and
maybe,
you know, by asking. But if that's the case, you ask and you make sure you have time before you just drop your bat.
It's interesting, though, as I was asking Rich that, there was an A's hitter was standing by, and he said really, when you ask for time, you should ask for it verbally and not hold your hand
That's right.
up, because you don't want to take your hand off the bat in case the umpire doesn't give you time. You know, most guys put their hand up, but then your hand's off the bat.
Right.
So it makes sense if you could just ask for it verbally, but keep your hand on the bat.
Yeah, because the umpires do not have to do it. I mean, you can ask for it, but do not have to grant it. And again, with Rich Hill pitching out of the windup, and really, unless, I mean, the one thing, and I think about pitchers who work quickly, like Mark Burley's retired, but with the so-called pace of game, you're really not supposed to step out and try to slow down a pitcher. So what Cabrera did in asking for time was not granted, but he should have been able to stay in, or should have stayed in, just in case. Now, he's talking to the umpire, and he just stopped. He just assumed he was getting it, and fortunately, Rich Hill threw a strike.
I mean, you understand Cabrera's frustration, but there's really, the umpire did not do anything wrong. Simeon shoots one down the left field line for a hit. So that's the first hit. Pretty good night for Rich Hill, though. And he's pitched great for the A's. A little bit of a rocky opening night, but since then.
Well, he is happy to be in this rotation and to be able to throw the curveballs. And there's 4 scouts sitting at one table, and they were just amazed at Rich Hill. And one scout said it took a 50 fastball. I guess they have the ratings on fastballs. He said took it from a 50 to a 60 just because of the success of his curveball. And it did make his fastball. Even Rich said it. The fastball that's throwing maybe 90, it seemed 100 to the hitters because it was so many curveballs.
There's Coco Crisp, takes down low. Rich Hill is now 3-2 with a 2.42 ERA, Ray, and he has 37 strikeouts in 26 innings. So he is off to a good start.
28 of those in 3 starts. Incredible.
Knows this area, right? Went to University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. That's why it was. He said, I grew up in Massachusetts and I pitched in Detroit, or University of Michigan. He says, I like this weather. He said, I like it cold. Reddick didn't.
No.
Josh was all bundled up.
Now 3-0. So the A's maybe putting a little pressure on Verlander. 2 on, 1 out. Coughlin will be next. Coco grounded out in the first inning. Grounded out to first. Verlander pours it in there for a strike at 91 miles an hour.
I'll get base runners and then look for the big hit. Try to get back some of the deficit.
Alonso at second, Simeon at first, and the pitch is outside. A's have the bases loaded for Coughlin. Speaking of the Wolverines, look at that guy, Jim Harbaugh in the house tonight.
Al Kaline, Brad Ausmus, and the skipper Bob Melvin.
He's looking good.
Yes, he is.
Jim Harbaugh.
Told me his dad is a big Cleveland Indians fan. How about that?
Well, he was a Ray Fosse guy.
No, he Hall of Famer Al Kaline was back to us, and
he was rocking the khakis tonight.
Oh
man,
that's right.
Khakis and Adidas.
Yeah.
It's good to see Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him come visit. Good friends with Bob Melvin.
Yeah.
Ann Arbor, about 45 miles west of here, so not a far drive.
Said he was supposed to coach third for the A's during spring training, but instead he took his team down to Florida.
That's right.
And ended up being in the Tigers camp and coaching for Brad Ausmus. He had so much fun last spring coaching first base for the A's. He's supposed to be out there for an inning. Stayed out there for 9. He said, I got 5 runs. He was all excited.
Excited? Jim Harbaugh? Still a bit hard to figure out how the 49ers let him go. But
didn't bother asking about that. It just let
still
that go.
A head scratcher.
Yeah, just let it go. But you know better than I mean his career, but I'd ask him. He said he went from college to the pros, now back to college.
Yeah.
So he was a college coach before.
That's
right. It was Stanford. But now that you said that.
1-1 to Coughlin. Great opportunity for the A's. Coughlin went around.
Oh.
A sharp breaking ball down and in. They checked with Mark Wegner at third. Wegner said that he went around. So now the count's 1-2.
Now the Coughlin didn't think so, but that's the hard slider that Coughlin has had a difficult time with. Let's take a look at the side what the third base umpire was looking at and watch the bat head. Well, they say it's far enough, but really didn't go that far. It did cross the plate.
Reddick in the on-deck circle.
Take one of those sliders that hangs inside, pull it down the right field line, let Coco score from first and make it a close game.
Breaking ball stays away. 2-2 the count. Verlander breezed through the first 2 innings, 6 up, 6 down with a couple of strikeouts, but in a lot of trouble here in the third. One's hit down the right field line, well foul. This would be pitch number 50 for Verlander. So he's thrown a fair amount of pitches as well. Two pitch, here it is, and he went around. And Coughlin can't believe that Marty Foster didn't check.
Yeah, the home plate umpire made the call, and that's what Coughlin's upset about. And see, he deferred to the third base umpire on the first one. That's got to go back, whether it's a strike or not. Take it out of your hands. And that was farther than the first one, so that was a strike. But still, it's still hard for the home plate umpire.
Yes! Check it.
Once he calls it, you can't check it.
Just check it.
Did go back to slider in the dirt, and Bobby Wilson a good job blocking the ball, but that time actually the bat did go farther through. So now it's up to Reddick with a couple of outs.
So 3 strikeouts for Verlander. Well, he's need a hit here, big time.
Yeah.
3 career grand slams for Reddick. He's looking for 4 right there. Fastball a little bit up. Well, that's an at bat if you're Coughlin. You're mad at the umpire. You're probably a little bit mad at yourself, and
should be more at yourself. Yeah,
that's one tough to shake off for a little while, especially with the bases loaded.
Well, and the biggest thing that he did was probably swing it, pitch it so much out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
The slider's in the dirt. He might not have gotten a strike. The check swing to third, and definitely the one he swung at, or at least home plate umpire caught.
Reddick skies one, foul territory, long run for Castellanos, and it'll be off the roof of the dugout.
Showed in our open that Justin Verlander might not have the velocity, but his location on fastballs up in the zone, and the 2 that Reddick has swung at have been up in the zone, and he's trying to get on top, and he's not able to. Popped up to short in his first at bat, and if he continues, as Ryan Dulles continued to throw it, just saw him throw another hard one. So
not harder than his first one, though.
No, but just the fact that he continues to throw would indicate that Sonny Gray might not be going back out for the third.
Upstairs again, 95 miles an hour, so the count is even.
He called Bobby Wilson out to tell him exactly that. Pitch up in the zone, try to go upstairs.
Alonso at third, Simeon at second, Crisp at first. Good speed on the bases. And he popped him up. He got the fastball in on Reddick, and Josh just could not get the bat head out. Goes, comes in, side retired. So the A's had an opportunity, but they leave them loaded in the third.
On Sean Doolittle, the Metallica Gnome with sound, presented by Ross. 15,000 fans at the Saturday, April 30th game. That's this Saturday. will receive this one-of-a-kind giveaway that actually plays the A's closers walk out a song. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. I told Sean that was voted the #1 giveaway of the year, and he was ecstatic. He couldn't believe it. He said, "I don't believe it." I said, "Yeah,
sure."
But yeah, it was a good one, but this is not a good one. Sonny Gray finished after 2 innings, and I was checking quickly at 3+ innings last year in Chicago. That was in his 29th start. And
yeah, that's right. That was in September.
That was September in the Sunday game in Texas. He was given an extra day, pitched the Monday night, and so unless the guys can figure out another one, this would have been his shortest of his career.
No, I think this is the shortest, unfortunately.
Yeah.
65 pitches for Sonny Gray. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So Ryan Dull probably was not expecting to be in the game in the 3rd inning. And, well, none of us were expecting him to be in the game this early.
Well, you can say the fact that he was even out there this early. Sonny Gray, you figure you're not going to be in the game.
1-1 pitch to Upton, swing and a miss, 1-2. You know, starting pitcher coming out of a game early, especially this early, 2 innings of work, and that's it. It really is a manager's nightmare because the game itself, this game, well, that means it's not going well.
Yeah.
But when you go to the bullpen in the 3rd inning, well, now, I mean, if you're the manager, you're not even so much thinking about tonight. Now you're starting to think about tomorrow.
That's right.
And the fact that they don't have an off day till next Thursday. You worry about your bullpen.
And, you know, to be honest, granted, you know, the pitches threw 114 against Kansas City in the start before Toronto. But you hope nothing's wrong because this is surprising to see him come out. I mean, granted, 65 pitches at 2 innings. He walked 4. And unfortunately, a couple of those scored in front of the home run.
Good swing by Upton.
But to see him not come out to at least get close to the 100-pitch mark, that maybe, again, that tough decision, as you mentioned, for the manager, the pitching coach, decided he just doesn't have it, and don't send him back out. Just save some bullets for his next start.
I guess it does happen occasionally with a top quality starter. And a slider, swing, and a miss. We do have good pitching news, though, and we're excited about this. The A's have called up the #1 prospect, left-hander Sean Manaea, and he is going to make his Major League debut on Friday night in Oakland. So we are looking forward to that. Good numbers at AAA.
Yeah.
Big left-hander. We saw him in spring training. He's a big fella.
Call him the Samoan Randy Johnson.
That's right. So we're excited about that. That's a big deal.
Well, he's excited as well. I think that's a plus. And I guess we found out Jesse Hahn, who unfortunately last year in Kansas City, when he had a tremendous game against the Royals, developed a blister on his middle finger, has another blister on his throwing hand. And of course, there was the possibility that Jesse would be coming back to Oakland.
Castellanos fouls it 0-2. So that's big news.
That is great news.
We're looking forward to that. Manaea came over from the Kansas City Royals and that Ben Zobrist deal. And we were very impressed in spring training, got to see him, and I know scouts were super impressed with him. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, they said he'd be at the big league level sooner than later. Well, sooner is Friday in the month of April.
So something to look forward to on Friday night. So you got Authentic Fan Friday. Well, just the fact that we're going home. Plus you got the A-Team, right?
A-Team, yeah, we can't forget that. Yeah, that's a big Friday.
So
Vinny's got his voice back. Vinny's sounding great again. So
get your sleep Thursday night because Friday's good stuff. 2-2 now to Castellanos, who tripled and scored. He got that whole second inning going. Two pitch is down and in. Change up from Dull.
Well, back-to-back 3-2 counts. Maybe it's the mound tonight because Verlander had trouble in the top of the inning after Sonny Gray had a horrible second inning, and 3-ball counts, way too many for him. Ryan Dole trying to keep the zeros on the board.
Back up the middle, Lowry shaded that way. Gloves and throws. So 2 outs. A's made a move today. They brought up catcher outfielder Matt McBride from AAA, and they sent down the right-hander Andrew Triggs. Triggs got an inning of work in on Monday, so got to look at him. So Triggs down, Matt McBride up, and there he is. So he was in spring training with the A's. Can play all over the place.
Well, the fact that he's a catcher, the A's really do not have an emergency catcher. And now they do with McBride, but you figure for Manaea coming up on Friday, you know, another move's going to have to be made. DeGrom was moved to the 60-day disabled list to accommodate McBride on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, you obviously can't be on the 25-man roster if you're not on the 40-man roster.
Right.
So if you add somebody to the 40-man, you got to take somebody off. But what you can do is instead of taking somebody off, you can move them to the 60-day disabled list for a certain amount of time.
Well, the A's last year had, what, about 10 guys on the 60 towards the end of the season?
Yeah, keep moving them to the 60. 1-2 pitch to Iglesias, grounded up the middle, and that will be a 2-out base hit for the shortstop.
Well, I'm sure Bob Melvin and Kurt Young said to Ryan Dahl, keep him right there. Gives this club a chance to come back and get a victory. That 0-2 or 1-2 slider from Dahl, this one up the middle. The 3-2 slider to Castellanos ended up being a ground out.
Well, it really is still, it's 4-0.
Exactly.
You know, so it's not like it's 8-0.
And that's why the top of the inning, bases loaded, 1 out, couldn't at least get one.
Just get one.
Made it a little bit tougher, but still. Verlander not being the Verlander. If he had a 4-run lead a few years ago, you'd figure lights are out, but maybe it's a different story tonight. We'll see.
Outside corner strike to Bobby Wilson. Ray, since we were talking about Manaea in the minor leagues, talked about Franklin Barreto last night.
Yeah.
He's off to a little bit of a slow start in AA, although lately swinging the bat a little better. And Matt Chapman is off to a decent start. Matt Chapman has 5 home runs in AA. Coco grabs it, so Iglesias with the 2-out hit, nothing else, and we're headed to the 4th inning. Tigers 4, A's 9. CSN California is brought to you by T-Mobile. Get major league coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the last year. Comerica Park here in Detroit. The Tigers leading 4-0 over the Athletics. Another chilly night at the ballpark. Guess it was raining a little bit earlier today back in the Bay Area.
That's not good. You don't want that.
No, we don't want that this weekend. You got the 18th Friday.
Maybe it was a heavy fog.
On the 18th.
Maybe a heavy fog, yeah.
1-0 to Chris Davis. 1-1. They are talking about some rain tomorrow morning. And then maybe into the early afternoon, but we're not talking about 100%. But it is a possibility for tomorrow. It's a day game here. Two and one the count. Lowry to follow, and then Butler here in the top of the fourth. I like those a lot,
yeah.
Ray Fosse.
I could see you wearing those.
Those are pretty sweet.
Pull up the pant legs about 6 inches and show the A's.
So you got stripes, you got the A's on there. That's a good look.
Chris Davis starting to swing the bat very, very well, and as hard as he hits the ball, you do not want to be an infielder having to play in with a runner at third. Every time he makes contact, it's hit hard.
That one off Bobby Wilson, full count, 92 miles an hour. Chris Davis popped out to Cabrera in foul territory in the second inning. Wilson sets up outside, and Davis just got a piece of that breaking ball, bounces it foul.
That 3-2 slider from Verlander. He says a lot about his confidence. Something he lacks a little of. He's a very confident person.
Yes, indeed. Another 3-2. This fastball is driven, and I mean driven.
Wow.
Deep left center, and that baby is gone. That's one of the longest home runs we've seen in a long time.
That went above Al Kaline's retired number and name.
Look out, Al Kaline.
Wow.
My goodness.
Well, I said he hits the ball hard. Well, he hit that one hard. Straightaway center on Monday night. He thought at least get a double. Well, he more than made up for it.
So the A's are on the board. It's 4-1. Lowry takes a first pitch strike. So third home run of the year for Chris Davis.
Even the fans were oohing and eyeing when they saw how far that ball was hit.
Lowry hits a smash foul, so he falls behind in the count 0-2. But watch where this ball lands.
Well, it's a fastball. Say challenge, hit it, and he did. But you're right. Watch where it lands. Check out the Al Kaline name. And right above, those fans said, no, that's not going to come up here. Yes, it is. And bounce back. That's way over.
Foul tip, and Lowry strikes out. One away here in the fourth. Watch this.
He wanted to shake Mike Aldredi's hand. I guess Aldo was
nowhere to be found.
449 feet, we're told. Hit that. That would have gone out to center field. That.
Yep.
Yeah, that would have made it.
Billy Butler struck out in the second inning. Changeup from Verlander. He's not throwing that a lot tonight.
You talked about the numbers that now 85 plate appearances are bats by Billy Butler. Verlander probably remembers every one, especially the 34 hits. And he's probably trying everything in the world to throw to him to try to get him out.
Alonso to follow. So back-to-back changeups and then a breaking ball. None of them near the strike zone, so now it's 3-1. So fastball in. And he got it in there. Castellanos throws. Butler is out. 2 outs.
Well, they probably remember the fastball he hit to right center, and that's been his power. All the at-bats that he had against Verlander with Kansas City probably saw him hit a lot of the shots to right field or right center.
So 2 outs for Yonder Alonso, who walked in the 3rd inning. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts for Verlander.
Yes.
And this one's popped up left side of the diamond. Should end the top of the 4th. Castellanos has it, side retired. A monster home run for Chris Davis. They're telling us nearly 450 feet, and we believe it. Look where it lands. 4-1. Tigers lead the A's. "100 days out from the opening ceremonies of the Summer Olympics in Rio on August 5th. Over 10,000 athletes from 206 nations will compete, with potentially a few of our own from the Bay Area. Every event will be able to be available to watch live on the NBC family of networks from August 5th until the closing ceremonies on August 21st. So check out the NBC family of networks for Olympic coverage starting August 5th. Rio.
So just the other day they started the torch. Nice. It's going to go all over the world to end up.
Is it Rio like a fun place to go?
Supposedly. Well, the Olympians will find out.
We should go there, Ray, you and I.
Watch the Olympics.
Going to Rio.
I made a movie about
Ray
that.
and Glenn going to Rio. Dull back out there, 2nd inning of work. It is now a 4-1 game.
Now Bob Melvin hoping for a shutout from his bullpen. If he can get that, give his offense a chance. They're 1 run closer.
Dull facing goes, and then the top of the order, Kinsler and Martinez. If you're just joining us, Sonny Gray finished after 2 innings. He had a very rough second inning where he threw 40 pitches. He threw 65 pitches total tonight, and after the second inning came to an end, that was it. Ryan Dull came in the third.
And let's hope it's just one of those games that he didn't have it versus something being wrong with it. Could have been a mutual decision by the skipper, the pitching coach, and Sonny Gray.
Simeon juggles, and then he throws wide, and that's going to be an error. He just sat on it a little bit, Ray.
Yeah. Only his second of the season, and it was one of those routine. It was just right at him, one hop there, a little short hop at the end, and unfortunately, Alonso came off the bag. And actually, that's what the call was, that he came off the bag, but it looked like it's going to be safe anyway.
So first error in this series by the A's, their 17th error of the year. And now Kinsler hits. And he got a very speedy runner at first, so Tigers could do a lot here.
Yeah, that ball came up on him, and he just panicked a little bit. Normally it's a smooth one, but then you have a fast runner on top of it. He did confirm, as we were talking last night about the ball that kind of ate him up a little bit, that he said, I should have backhanded. He said, but it just took that weird angle. And he said, I was prepared to be in front of it, then it took off. And he said, in hindsight, he should have, but I think the way he handled it and be able to throw out the base runner, but he's kind of working in progress, but cannot judge how the ball is always hit, and sometimes it does take an erratic hop, but in this case last night it moved away from him.
Kinsler takes inside, 1-1 the count. Kinsler has struck out, and then he walked and scored in the second inning. Second error of the year on Simeon. And that one's thrown away. And Goes is going to end up at third easily. And they'll hold him up. Goes comes around third, stops. So it'll be an error in the pitcher, and now the runner's at third with nobody out.
Well, you see Alonso, and pretty good lead, but way off line was the throw, and you're right, the Goes speed. That's automatic. Usually you figure automatically too. Not a good way to start this inning either.
So infield comes in. Dull from the stretch. And there's a strike, 1-2. So Dull needs to make some big pitches here. Kinsler watches that one low. So a couple of errors by the A's as Goes at third base. Kinsler grounds it just foul out in front of him. Breaking ball from Dull. Martinez will be next. J.D. Martinez. So the big hitters are coming up. Another one foul.
Sliders towards the middle of the plate, and that's why Kinsler was able to foul them and stay alive. But ideally, try to get him a chaser slider off the plate. Although now runner at third base, it's up to Fegley to make sure he can get to the ball.
Another 2-2, and he got him swinging up and in. So Kinsler chases, one out.
And that was the case in the second inning. Runner at third, nobody out. Got the big out on a ground ball by Iglesias, and then everything opened up for the Tigers and against Sonny Gray. So they'll try to do it this inning and try to make this double error to put the runner at third base, not have an effect on the A's score.
First pitch to J.D. Martinez. Little slider, drops in for a strike. Big hit in this game from J.D. Martinez. Deep right center field, a 3-run shot in the second. And he blasts one to left field. Davis spins around and he makes a nice catch. Bangs up against the wall for the out. It's a sacrifice fly as Goes comes in to score. But a nice play by Chris Davis in left field.
That was loud, but it's a run. Fastball, very hittable fastball, and we hit a 3-run home run to right center. You get another fastball like that, but man, what a play! That could have been extra bases, but Chris Davis able to go back, reach up on a hard hit ball, and pull it down. What a great play by Davis.
Miguel Cabrera steps up and he lines the first pitch he sees down the right field line. Strikeout and a walk for Miguel Cabrera. And that one's hit to left center. And that's hit a ton. Davis near the wall, and he can't get this one. Drops at the base of the wall, and Cabrera will have a double. That one just did not have the right sound.
No, he golfed it. His pitch was inside, and watch him just drop the head of the bat inside. Maybe a little bit towards the end of the bat, because when it left his bat, thought it was going to be a home run, but died at the warning track. Davis almost got to that one too. As a matter of fact, his angle was a little bit different then. It came up a little bit short as it hit the bottom of the wall.
So Cabrera with the double. Think about Chris Davis, Ray. We've seen he does not have a great arm.
Right.
But he can go get it pretty good.
Yes, he can.
And I know the A's coaching staff talked about that in spring training. They said he's got pretty good range in the outfield. He just does not have a great arm.
He could hit, and he started to hit exactly what the way everybody expected him to.
So 2 outs. Here's Victor Martinez. Liam Hendricks starts to throw. First pitch, a strike to Martinez. Martinez hit by a pitch and a ground out. Check out where Dave Clark is. Right,
I know.
He is, and really not exaggerating. He is halfway between third and home.
With his back to Victor Martinez, he could care less about getting hit. Saw that first couple of games in the series, but he's all over the place.
All right, here's my question.
Make you get in the batter's box.
Well, yeah,
box.
but is it really necessary to be that far out of the coach's box?
No.
I don't think it is.
No, it's, and really the coaches are supposed to be in the coach's box. That's the reason they put it there. We're supposed to be enforcing a little bit more.
I just don't think that's necessary.
No. Of course, we also saw him go down the third baseline by the third base umpire and give a sign. His batting gloves on. Hey, you're Dave Clark 5, after all, come on.
Now 3-1. So be careful here, although first base is open, and they are going to now put him on. So it's an intentional walk, 2 on, 2 out, and now Upton steps in. So 5 walks tonight issued by the Athletics. So Upton will hit. Upton is grounded out and he has struck out. He's 1 for 9 in the series. A run in for the Tigers. And it was a hanger. Upton missed it. Pops it foul back. Probably would not throw that one again.
Or be happy that Upton might be struggling, because normally that ball is going to be hit hard. Upton has hit a few hangers probably in his lifetime.
In the air, right center, hangs up for Reddick. Now Reddick comes in, side retired. So a costly error, couple costly errors, and the Tigers get a run. 5-1 Detroit after 4.
That Friday night, April the 29th, when the A's take on the Houston Astros, 10,000 fans will receive one of the best. That's an A's Pet Calendar presented by Central Garden and Pet. For tickets and more information, visit athletics.com/promotions or call 877-493-BALL. That's athletics.com/promotions or 877-493-BALL. Pet Calendar. Can't wait. That's always a good one.
Fegley, first pitch he sees here in the top of the 5th. Skies one to left, 1 out. So 1 away. He's got a long home run from Chris Davis last inning. Their only run against Verlander. 72 pitches for the right-hander. Outside corner, good pitch there, first strike. Verlander is, let's see where he is in the Tigers all-time strikeout list. He's 3rd, closing in on Jack Morris, but quite a ways away from Mickey Lolich. You probably got a couple hits off Mickey Lolich in your career.
Should I tell you?
Yeah, probably hit a grand slam against him.
Just 2 home runs in the same game. That's my highlight at Tiger Stadium.
Nice.
Upper deck at Tiger Stadium. I love it.
With the Indians?
Yeah.
Mickey Lolich.
I just like the fact that his business that he had, donut maker. How about that? He owned a donut business.
That's beautiful.
The Mick.
Maybe tough to go to work every day.
I tell you, every time you come to this park, it's a nice, sweet smell. They said roasting almonds or something.
It smells really good.
It's great.
There's the Tigers' strikeout leader. So Verlander, he's going to get to Jack Morris real soon.
Yeah.
But a little ways to go for old left-hander Mickey Lolich. 2-2 pitch. Getting a little closer. Strikeout number 5. So Simeon is retired.
And everybody talks about Danny McClain winning 31 in 1968, but it was the great Mickey Lolich winning 3 games in the World Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. It's a good fastball from the right-hander.
I was just going to ask you, did you remember facing Denny McClain?
Oh yeah,
because I've seen highlights of it.
Just nothing. I mean, he could spot his fastball,
yeah, okay. But that's a pretty good 1-2 punch, though, huh? Denny McClain and Mickey Lolich.
Exactly. Jim Price tells the story because he was on that '68 Tigers team. He said in the Game 7, Mayo Smith was a manager, and he said, "Mickey, can you give me one? Next inning, can you give me one? Next inning, can you give me another one?" And finally, he said, "I'm not going to ask it." He just kept going, and he won 3 in Game 7 or in the World Series. And that's the year that Bob Gibson had a 1.12 ERA, and they lowered the mounds because of it. Wanted to take away from the pitching, add more offense.
2 for 13 of Denny McClain, Ray Fosse was.
Yeah.
Found that.
Well, I don't even want to tell you what happened in the game.
Did you get another fight?
Yeah.
Did you get a fight? I told you not to charge them out. I told you not to charge them out.
Well,
right?
no, it was actually coming back from a fight. And unbeknownst to me, I had so many stitches from the fight that I was in when I charged them out. As Jim Price said, Bill Denny gave me the first karate kick in baseball. Ran into a buzzsaw, but
you were always trying to protect your teammates. See, that was the problem. You were a good teammate. Slowly hit. Iglesias quickly to first, and Verlander has a 3-up, 3-down inning. So we're headed to the bottom of the 5th. It's the Tigers 5 and the A's 1. Friday should be a good one. The Astros in town. You can get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate. Authentic A's dry fit shirt, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is CSN's Authentic Fan Friday. So that's the shirt you're going to get. Check it out. Throw it. Authentic Fan 2016.
That's a nice shirt.
That's a nice shirt.
That's a Billy Butler number 16, formerly Josh Reddick.
So the A's are back in town. Astros are in, and looks like Sean Manaea is going to make his major league debut on that Friday night, big left-hander. So plenty of reasons to get out to the ballpark. 5-1, Tigers lead the A's. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog expert. So back to the bullpen for the Athletics after Ryan Dull goes 2 innings, and now it's going to be Liam Hendricks. So Hendricks will appear in his 8th game. And I would imagine, Ray, that Bob Melvin would love to get 2 innings out of Liam Hendricks.
Yeah, exactly.
First pitch is a strike to Castellanos.
Unfortunately, after John Axford last night threw over 20 pitches, 25, 26 in the 9th. He hadn't pitched since Thursday, so I think he would not be available tonight. Although he might, and probably better just had a lot of time in between appearances.
0-2 to Castellanos, a triple and a ground out.
I guess the best case scenario for the A's to have a couple, 2 or 3 relievers go 2 innings and get a lead and turn it over to the back end of the bullpen.
And a swinging strikeout for Liam Hendricks. So that's how the bottom of the 5th starts. Sharp breaking ball.
Yeah, a couple of good fastballs, and then the hard slider, chase slider, and that's to chase it out of the strike zone. And good job by Hendricks throwing it outside away from the right-hander and getting a swing and miss. But he started the 2nd inning with a 2-strike triple to left center.
Here's Iglesias with 1 out. He has grounded out and he has singled. You know, Ray, you mentioned that 1968 World Series. The Tigers were down 3-1 to the Cardinals in that series. And they had to beat Bob Gibson in Game 7.
That's right.
And they did. How about that? Iglesias has a hit. So if you're sitting there down 3-1 in a series, knowing that in Game 7, if you get there, you're going to have to face that guy. And they won 3 in a row.
And not only that, to have Lolich come back on short rest.
Yeah.
They, you know, it's like you're going home tomorrow, so don't worry about it.
That's true.
And they pitched on a 4-man rotation anyway. And I think, again, in the 68, when McClain won 31, he had like 26 complete games. May not be 26 complete games in all of Major League Baseball this year.
Nope. Tigers have won it all 4 times in their very long history. 1935, 1945, 1968, and then of course 1984. First pitch is a strike to Bobby Wilson.
And they probably thought they were going to do it in 2006 after they swept the A's in the League Championship Series. Maglio Ordonez hitting a walk-off grand slam against Houston Street.
It was colder that night.
Yeah.
Just the ending made it even colder.
Oh, yeah. Kirk Gibson, who's on the broadcast team for the Tigers, part of the 84 35-5 start. Can you imagine that? 30 games over 500 after 40 games? And Sparky Anderson, the manager. And
there's Kirk Gibson. It looks good.
Yeah, it does. Of course, the Dodgers at 88. Don't even want to bring that up. MVP that year. Blame it on Vin Scully because he convinced him to come out of the clubhouse and pinch hit in the 9th inning.
It's the only thing Vin's ever done wrong in his entire career. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Throw to second, not in time. Wilson strikes out. And yeah, I mean, close play at second, and Wilson kind of fell toward front of home plate as well.
Well,
nice play by Lowry.
Yeah, he's sliding and trying to hold the tag. And
I mean, I think his interference, it's not that far out of the question.
Yeah.
It looked like he kind of fell over home plate a little bit when Fegley made the throw.
Now, Fegley has such a quick release and very strong arm, and big jump by Iglesias from first base. A couple of strikeouts. Fegley, I think, asking Marty Foster if the hitter did interfere. Great Eddie Montague. I always remember talking to him when he's at the Coliseum, and he said hitter doesn't necessarily have to fall over and you make contact with him, because as long as if he just interferes with this
so
throw.
contact does not have to be made.
No, I mean, just if he interferes. Now Wilson, as a catcher, kind of stopped. He realized he was still in the batter's box, so
that he really
it was
did not
okay
interfere.
there. But if you have to throw up over the top of a hitter, if he's falling, you don't have to touch him. So I thought that was an interesting point that the great Eddie Montague brought up.
0-1 to Goes. 0-2. Anthony Goes. Goes has reached on a fielder's choice, and he has reached on an error. He has scored twice, and he has an RBI. So kind of an interesting box score for Anthony Goes. Iglesias at second, 2 outs. And that one's at the knee, strike 3 call. So Hendricks gives up a hit, but he also strikes out 3. 6th inning coming up, 5-1 Detroit. Playoffs are on our sister station, CSN Bay Area. Tuned in tonight for Game 5. JB and Roz will have it for you. The home of Warriors playoff basketball is CSN. So, that series has a little different feel to it with Steph Curry being out.
How's Mr. Curry doing?
He'll be all right. He's a quick healer.
Good.
The Warriors leading that series 3-1, so they could finish it off tonight at Oracle. If they don't, Game 6 will be in Houston. Friday night in Houston. So the Warriors do not want to make that trip back to Texas. 1-0 to Coughlin. 2-0 to Coughlin. Will be followed by Reddick and Davis. Verlander with a 5-1 lead. Sitting at 83 pitches.
So we have to hope that the Warriors can watch the Houston Astros play the A's at the Coliseum instead of having to go to Houston to play.
That's right. That's right.
The Houston team there. So
Coughlin. Fly ball to right and a strikeout. Another strike. Coughlin didn't like either of those calls. The ball's off the plate a little bit, it looks like, and now Marty Foster takes his mask off and he starts chewing on Coughlin.
well, this is probably
That's not a strike.
no. It's probably a result of what he did in the second at bat, and now he's hearing a lot.
I don't think either of the strikes that were called in this at bat were strikes.
No, I agree.
Instead, it's 2-2. And Marty Foster's mad at the world. And Coughlin swings and misses, so he strikes out, and that is strikeout number 6 for Verlander.
Well, another slider down and in, and pitches outside, then came back to the back foot with a breaking ball. The hard slider, it was not a strike or curveball.
So here's Reddick. Reddick is popped to short, fly to center. That one in for a strike. Reddick in this series 5 for 10. Trying to get aboard against Verlander. That curveball drops low. Well, Verlander's keeping it on the outside corner, and why not?
If they're
the
going to call
pitches
it,
are going to be called strikes,
yeah.
so you can tell he's trying to backdoor that curveball away from left-handed hitters. Verlander off the mound, picks it up. He'll tag Reddick. He does, and that's the second out. So these are the 2 called strikes to Coughlin. Now this is a 2-0 pitch.
Look where Wilson set up.
That's not close.
No, and he had to reach out and pull it back.
And now here's the very next pitch, and that's not a strike. They're both outside. And of course, Marty Foster has to take the mask off to let everybody know he's in charge.
You know, I think umpires need to just, I mean, as long as the guy's not swearing, it just if he's mumbling and, you know, you don't have to take it personally.
Just stand there, leave your mask.
Exactly.
So the first pitch is a strike to Chris Davis. 8 in a row retired by Verlander since the Chris Davis home run, so give him some credit for that. Davis hit a very, very long home run in the 4th inning. Estimated at 450 feet.
Well, it was not a cheapie. Unfortunately, bases were empty. We know the great Al Kaline. We see him when we come back to Detroit, and fans at home got to see his name, the retired number 6 up on the concrete facade left center.
Iglesias backhands, tough little hop, and that's a nice play. So 9 in a row retired by Verlander, and he's rolling along. Bottom of the 6th coming up. 5-1 Detroit. It's all brought to you by Hyundai. Coming up tonight at 10:30, and it's on CSN Bay Area. We'll have all the highlights and clubhouse reaction from this A's Tigers game. Warriors and Rockets Game 5 should be a good one. Monty Poole will have all the post-game Warrior notes. Then Fareed and Dave Feldman will host, and they will be at Oracle. Oh man!
Say David Feldman.
Dave Feldman.
Dave Feldman.
Feldy, we call him.
Good friend of Jim Harbaugh.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Matter of fact,
They high school together.
he said when you see him, tell him hello. So we just told him hello.
Yes, we did.
From Jim Harbaugh. Feldy.
Now, you should really be honest and say when you said Feldy's name to Harbaugh, you said, who?
No, actually.
Who?
Actually, Jim Harbaugh said it to me.
Said it to me.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right, he had the khakis on.
Oh, yeah, rocking the khakis.
Wearing his Michigan Wolverines cap, probably.
It'd be fun to go to a Jim Harbaugh practice. Yeah. There's about 90 college kids out there. 2-0 to Kinsler. Hendricks facing the top of the order. That's outside, and now it's 3-0.
He said, how many assistants do you have? He said, college we had 9. Officially, all we can have is 9. But we have this and this and this. He said, turns out to be about 20, 21.
Yeah, I was going to say 9. That doesn't sound like.
Well, I guess officially, but pros, he said about 19 or 20. But college, you're allowed 9, but they have all the other various named assistants.
Yeah, don't the pros have the quality control coach, and I never knew what that was. Quality control coach.
I think there's one in baseball. I think somebody, the Astros or somebody has it.
Quality control. I don't. We're gonna find that out.
Maybe we should call Jim and
It's the NFL draft tomorrow. We should find out. Kinsler 0 for 2 with a walk. He was struck out twice. And he shoots that one to center, and that'll be a hit. So hit number 6 for the Tigers. And now J.D. Martinez steps up.
Well, the fastball down in the lower part of the zone, and when that happens, really all a hitter has to do is just get a good swing, put the man on the ball. A pitcher's going to provide the power. And that is a 4-seam fastball from Liam Hendricks at about 94.
Big night for this guy, J.D. Martinez. Walk, 3-run homer, and a sacrifice fly. So he has 4 RBIs tonight. Last year, J.D. Martinez had 38 home runs, 102 RBIs, and he was an all-star for the first time. Taps that one foul. But Jake Arrieta did not get to pitch tonight. They got rained out in Chicago.
Oh, so he has a reprieve, huh?
Yes.
Johnny Vandermeer.
Arrieta.
Everybody always talks about the start after the no-hitter. Are they going to tie Johnny Vandermeer? And that's only a tie. You'd have to pitch 3 consecutive no-hitters to break the record of the great Johnny Vandermeer. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think so either. Jake Arrieta is becoming quite a story.
Well, they're at home, right? In Chicago.
They're at home, yeah.
But he's not pitched. His 2 no-hitters have been on the road. So he said
Exactly.
he wants to pitch one in front of his hometown crowd.
Oh, 2 pitches low.
Second inning against Sonny Gray, and Sonny put his head down. Maybe he thought a contact that it was going to travel, maybe at least to the gap, but I think we were all hoping that at least would only hit the wall, not go over the wall, but that was a huge blow. And Sonny departed after 2 innings, 65 pitches, 40 in the second inning alone.
1-2 pitch, hit high and foul. Did you see the numbers on Jake Arrieta, his last 24 starts?
Yeah, they've been
20-1 with a 0.86 ERA and 2 no-hitters. They said that they don't know that there's ever been a better 24-game stretch in Major League history.
Yeah, history.
20-1 with a .86 ERA.
That is incredible. And he's backing up his Cy Young Award
Yes,
season.
he is. But I didn't realize he had that consecutive scoreless inning streak at home. 48 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings at Wrigley. So that's a big deal. And that's why he was hoping to pitch tonight.
Yeah, you wake up, hope the wind's blowing in. Instead of out of Wrigley, which it can blow either way. And
3-2 now to J.D. Martinez.
But the sad part about the success of Jake Arrieta, you have to be very happy for him, and the fact that now they're starting to bring in up Baltimore. What happened to Baltimore? Why did they trade him? You know, and who had him there? And, you know, sometimes guys get traded and change of scenery, late bloomers, and a lot of things can happen.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that the prior teams or pitching coaches had any effect.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner.
That must have been some sort of a quick pitch, because Ian Kinsler has excellent speed, and J.D. Martinez has made contact, especially with a 3-run home run. Had a sac fly and a walk, now a strikeout. Good strikeout by Liam Hendricks. 4 strikeouts for him.
So here's the big fella, Miguel Cabrera. Strikeout, walked, and a double.
I'd like to ask you, Cap, why would anybody pitch to Giancarlo Stanton?
Did you see his home run last night?
Man. The home run and then the double to right center took one hop and hit the wall. What a strong individual.
Well, you're so surprised when somebody hits a home run off Kershaw.
Yeah.
These guys just don't get hits off him at all, let alone a home run.
And watching Kershaw's reaction, you can tell he doesn't give up a lot.
He's not used to it.
No. Quality pitcher, and of course the hitter is unbelievable.
Yeah, fun to watch. Maybe overlooked because he's with the Marlins team that does not necessarily get a lot of publicity.
They are now, though, with their new hitting coach.
Yeah, that's right. Sounds like Barry's still getting used to the rigors of being a pitching or a hitting coach.
Well, so Bob Melvin and his staff leaving the hotel today at a little after 12 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game.
So you don't think Barry would have been in that taxi with the guys?
I give Mark Kotze a lot of credit. He's bench coach, and he's got a young family, yet he is there as a bench coach for Bob Melvin. And
so 2-2 the count, as they said. Cabrera went around. Cabrera's not happy. Marty Foster is not happy either.
Well, after last night and tonight,
that's not a swing.
I see he's asking for the appeal. I'll Adrian Beltre, the appeal. He said this is strike.
It backfired. 2-2. And now full count. So 29 pitches for Hendricks out of the bullpen. Dole went 2. Sonny Gray went 2. Kinsler with a pretty good lead at first. And there's a line drive and a base hit to left field. Nice easy swing.
Only thing I can think of is Liam Hendricks is quick to the plate, and Fegley has a strong arm, because back-to-back 3-2 counts, and Ian Kinsler was not running on either one.
Yeah, he looked like he was good to go.
Yeah,
Had that look.
And a lot of that has to do with the pitcher and his release time, and Hendricks seems to be very quick to the plate.
So Victor Martinez steps in, chance to knock in a run. 2 on, 1 out. He's been hit by a pitch, he's grounded out, and he has walked. shift is on for the A's, and that one's hit high and deep to right. And that one is gone. It's a 3-run shot for Victor Martinez, and the Tigers have busted it open. It's now 8-1. Martinez did not wait around. He got what he was looking for.
Well, they tried to go inside, and a mistake because he opened up the hips quickly. And if you're going to pitch inside, you better get it off the plate, because power hitters can open up quickly. They recognize the pitch is in there, and they can recognize that it's a fastball and not some sort of a cutter that's going to get into the hands. And Victor Martinez unloaded quickly.
So still only one out here in the bottom of the 6th, and that'll bring up Upton. Fourth home run of the year for Victor Martinez. So 0-2. It's a quiet A's bullpen right now. Upton is hitless. Ground out, fly out, strikeout. Nice block by Fegley. So a pair of 3-run homers tonight have done the most damage for Detroit. Martinez in the 2nd, J.D. Martinez, and then Victor Martinez here in the 6th. One-two pitch, good breaking ball there, and that's. Well, he struck out everybody that he's retired.
Exactly.
5 strikeouts.
That is retired, exactly. Hard breaking pitch, and really out of the strike zone, but good enough to Upton. Upton 0 for 4 tonight, and everybody else has found a way to put themselves on base.
Here's Castellanos. He tripled in the 2nd, leading it off, and later scored. He's also grounded out and struck out. These pitchers have 9 strikeouts tonight. I wish I could give you better news after that, but I can't.
Hope the Warriors have better news tonight.
Yeah, they need to make our night better. Yankees and the Rangers are tied 2-2 in the top of the 15th, or top of the 5th, I should say. Rubber game of that series down in Texas. Rangers won last night, breaking their 4-game losing streak. 2-1 now to Castellanos. Sabathia and Perez, couple of lefties squaring off. Rangers and the A's with identical records in the early going, both 11 and 10.
Seattle playing so well, they've got a couple of games over 500.
Yeah. The Rangers will be off tomorrow, and then they will host the Angels this weekend. So Rangers will stay at home. Pitch number 40 coming up by Hendricks. And here it is. And it's rolled foul. Curveball.
Pardon, I think it's colder tonight.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
It's definitely colder tonight. We were all right last night,
yeah,
but tonight
was it supposed to be this cold?
Getting in our bones a little bit.
If Jeff was a good man, he'd have a heater in here.
That's Ray and I right there.
We wish. Yeah, that is a heater.
That's what we need.
Yeah. And see Ron Washington right by it.
Outside on a close pitch, 3-2. Who's that guy? He's a Pistons fan, or a Red Wings fan, I should say. Wash is smarter than all of us.
Yes, he is.
Stay right there, Wash.
With the heavy coat on, hands behind his back, the heater.
Another foul ball. Castellanos throwing out a good at bat here.
But you can see those fans, and we know how it feels up here. And Rich Hill last night said, we're moving around. We're okay. Yeah. It's just people who are watching the game.
No question.
It's
You're
cold.
Playing fine.
Yeah.
The weather says 45 degrees right now.
What's it feel like?
It doesn't say what it feels like. That's for you and I to decide. That one's hit well. Reddick's going to get back there, though. He's got side retired. Victor Martinez, a 3-run shot here in the 6th inning, so we're going to the 7th. It's now 8-1 Tigers.
Favorite mascot Stomper with your very own Elephant Socks presented by Black Bear Diner. The second Little League Day on Sunday, May the 1st. That's coming up this weekend. You can be one of 15,000 fans to receive a pair of Elephant Socks. For tickets and more information, visit athletics.com/promotions or call 877-493-BALL. I can see all the Little Leaguers with their Elephant Socks.
Yep.
Parading around the field. That'd be a fun day.
Verlander back out there, sitting at 92 pitches. Drops a first pitch curve for a strike. Lowry, Butler, and Alonso for the A's in the 7th. Verlander has 6 strikeouts in the game. So pretty good line tonight for the veteran right-hander.
Well, he knows how to take advantage of a lead. Yep. He's done that tonight because he struggled after the 4-run second inning. A's came out in the 3rd, couldn't do anything with the bases loaded, 1 out.
It's a long run for Upton. Still on the move, and he can't get it. So Lowry's going to have a bloop double down the left field line. Upton ran a long ways. He just could not quite get to it.
Well, it could have been possible that he just takes the bounce and maybe hold Lowry to a single, but I think he's going to get a double anyway. And Upton really going after it, just could not get there quickly enough. Giving the double to Jed Lowry anyway.
So Lowry gets his first hit tonight, his third double of the year. And now Billy Butler hits. Butler has struck out and he has grounded to third. A little bit inside. Royals and the Angels will get started in just a little bit. Angels going for the sweep at home of the world champs. Chris Young for Kansas City, Nick Tropiano for the Angels. And the Astros and the Mariners will get underway soon as well, with the Mariners going for the sweep. Colin McHugh will pitch for Houston. Iwakuma for Seattle. That one is belted to deep center field, and it is off the wall. Lowry will score easily, and Billy Butler with a booming double. And he picks up his first RBI of the year, and it's 8-2.
How about that? He's not played that much. Game 22, and for Billy Butler, good to see him get into a hit. 35 hits now off of Verlander. But he got the count in his favor, got the low fastball, and drove it left center. They were playing him to right center. You see, goes where he's playing. They know the power of Billy Butler to go to right center. He got out in front and pulled that one. It's a long way for a double.
Mitch Doobie, the pitching coach, is coming out. He's on the clock. But with 98 pitches, I'm going to see some movement out there in that Tigers bullpen.
Now, with the NFL draft tomorrow, will they be saying that a lot? You're on the clock?
You're on the clock. Yeah, that's right. Just the first round tomorrow.
Just the first round. But that second 3-run home run hurt. Alex Wilson, the right hitter, started to get loose. Both Wilsons.
Which one you want?
You got a Wilson catching and two Wilsons warming up.
Yeah. Let's get them all out there.
Got two Martinez, a JD, and a Victor. They only have one price.
First pitch to Alonso is outside. Alonso with a walk and a pop out to third. Pitch number 100 coming up for Verlander, and here it is. And it's popped up. Castellano gets back there in fair territory, and he has it, and that's out number 1. So Alonso pops out to Castellano for the second time tonight. And here's Fegley. So with the Astros coming to town, guess we just did not think we would be saying this, Ray, at this point in the season, even though it's early. Astros have the worst record in the American League.
They're
6-15.
Hard to believe.
Still can't imagine that they won't turn it around at some point, because it's talented, but their pitching has not been very good.
Especially the reigning Cy Young Award winner.
Yeah, so. But Colin McHugh has a very high ERA.
But McCullers not pitching.
And there's a hit. Drops in left field. And Butler will get to third. He'll stop there. So 3 hits in this inning off Verlander.
Well, Verlander probably wants to go 7. Matter whether Brad Ausmus will allow him to do that. The breaking ball that Fegley reached out, pulled it to left field. No chance to score Butler, but Josh Fegley with his new mustache gets a base hit. Maybe buying some time for one of the Wilsons, because the other Wilson's walking out to buy the time.
Well, Verlander in his last start, where he pitched well in a 2-1 loss, threw 118 pitches. So Bobby Wilson heads back behind the plate. Brad Ausmus, he's on the bottom step. Almost looks like he's thinking about going out there.
Well,
And now Wilson's going to come out and give some signals.
Yeah, if you're a manager, he's waiting to get the okay that they're ready. So that's going to be it. So Wilson's coming in.
So Verlander, after 102 pitches,
He's not happy. He's never happy.
so 6 1/3 tonight for Verlander, and he will leave with a couple of runners on, but with an 8-2 lead. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts.
California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
So Tigers leading 8-2. A's trying to make a little noise here in the top of the 7th inning. So to the bullpen for the first time for Detroit. This is Alex Wilson. And Ray, one of our great viewers back home, wants to know if the Wilsons are brothers.
Bobby?
No, they're not. But we appreciate our great fans wondering if they're brothers. Justin, the left-hander, Alex, the right-hander, and Bobby, the catcher.
So this is a Wilson battery.
That's right.
Well,
1-0 to Simeon.
Appreciate the gentleman bringing in an oscillating heater that put under that. Like that word, Jeff? Oscillating?
Feels good.
Although you stopped it oscillating, it's only going to you. Oops. That's all right.
Simeon a single and a strikeout. Swing and a miss. Now Wilson pitched last night. Just an inning through the top of the 9th inning. Got a couple of strikeouts. So Verlander 6 1/3, 102 pitches.
Was not happy when he came out. I think he wanted to finish the 7th. Just don't like the 6 and 4 or 6 and 3. With a quality start, ready to go 7.
Simeon checks his swing, and he just got a piece of it.
Big home run last night as Pelfrey, a 2-run shot, and gave up to Marcus Simeon that actually went into the bleachers over the bullpen. Fastball that was left up, but Kissimmee with 5 home runs in the month of April, which is quickly coming to an end. Shortstops with Trevor Story. What a story.
Yep.
Tulo and Toronto.
And breaking ball, and Simeon strikes out for the second time tonight. 2 outs here in the top of the 7th.
Well, that's a couple of innings. The A's bases loaded in the second or third and 1 out. This time with the runner at third and 1 out. And neither one able to get the runners in, so take a 2-out hit again.
So here's the top of the order. Coco Crisp, Butler at third, Fegley at first. And Coco takes a strike. The line for Verlander. 2 earned runs, couple of walks, 6 strikeouts.
Take 5 days off.
Yep. Fastball just a little bit low. Tigers will be on the road after these 2 teams wrap up this series tomorrow. They will be at Minnesota for the weekend and then at Cleveland. So they got some division matchups coming up. Coco right field, and that's going to drop for a hit. Butler will trot in to score, and now it's 8-3. So a 2-out single. Charge that run to Verlander.
That's it. Osmond's coming out again.
So gives Coco his 6th RBI of the year.
Swing by Coco Crisp as right-hander, turn him around to bat left-handed, and with 2 outs, drops a base hit in front of the right fielder J.D. Martinez.
So Alex Wilson gets 1 big out, but he cannot get the 3rd out. So a new pitcher coming in.
The #1 live streaming sports service delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes a free subscription to AT DET Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Well, the A's trying to make it interesting. They have scored twice here in the top of the 7th to make it an 8-3 game. So to the bullpen, and Justin Wilson comes in, good left-hander, having a nice start to the season. He's got 11 strikeouts in 8 1/3 innings and has not a lot of run. So he's going to face the pinch hitter Mark Canha. So Canha hitting for Chris Cogley. Fegley at second, Crisp at first. So not an easy task if you're Mark Canha. Very cold night, you're sitting on the bench. But then you're asked to pinch hit. And a part of the deal for Mark Canha right now, anyways.
Mark Canha always says the right things, and he's always prepared when he gets the opportunity. Let's see if he can do it again in this at bat.
A breaking ball, good swing.
Started the road trip nicely with the extra inning base hit past Gregorius. The shortstop at New York Yankee Stadium, the A's.
Wasn't that like a month ago? Right?
That seems like a month ago, but it was Mark Canha getting the base hit, and it was picked off first base about 2 pitches later. Nice pick by McCann and threw it down, but he got the game-winning hit and got a slider that didn't slide. Took advantage of it and hit it hard.
0-2 pitch is on the inside corner, strike 3 call. So the A's get 2 runs on 4 hits, and we have reached the 7th inning stretch from Detroit. 8-3 Tigers.
By authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Now the A's Insider Podcast is live on CSNCalifornia.com. Log on each week as Insider Joe Stiglitz talks baseball with players, coaches, special guests, and more. The A's Insider Podcast with Joe Stiglitz on CSNCalifornia.com. Also available on iTunes. That's pretty special, man.
Yep.
Joe's everywhere. On iTunes and podcast.
Doing a great job.
Yeah.
So it's 8-3 Tigers lead, bottom of the 7th inning from Detroit. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So Mark Zepchinski comes in. He is the 4th pitcher of the night for the A's. And also Mark Canha, after pinch hitting, will stay in the game at 3rd. So Zepchinski's first pitch to Iglesias is hit fouled on the right field line. Oh, 1 pitch is a strike on the outside corner. So Liam Hendricks goes 2 innings. Gives up 4 hits and 3 runs.
Yeah, probably will say I'd rather have some outs instead of all the strikeouts, because he had 5, pitched well, get to strikeouts, but the 1 big blow by Victor Martinez. Really huge in this game, considering the A's coming back. 2 big crooked numbers, a 4 spot in the 2nd and a 3 in the 6th by the Detroit Tigers.
Iglesias has 2 hits tonight. He's 2 for 3. So Gray went 2, Dull went 2, Hendricks 2 innings. Beckley sets up inside, and Szybczynski misses inside.
Szybczynski's done a great job not allowing an inherited runner to score. The A's, of course, as a whole in the bullpen has done a great job. Verhagen starts to warm up, the right-hander.
The 3-2 pitch is low, and Iglesias has a walk, so he's been on base 3 times. So 6 walks by A's pitchers tonight. That's far too many. Here's Bobby Wilson. White Sox are at it again, Ray. They are leading the Toronto Blue Jays 4-0 in Toronto in the bottom of the 9th.
Did Chris Sale shut him out last night? Or won his 5th game? I don't think he shut him out, but won his 5th. Chris Sale off to a great start.
Lowry, a diving play, throws to second for 1, and that's all they'll get, but a sensational play by Lowry. That was a one-hop smash.
Bobby Wilson in the game tonight, just trying to get a base hit past Lowry, but what a play by Chad. Great angle, and then comes up, throws quickly to second base. And pretty good speed by Iglesias, but wanted to try to get the lead runner. And did an exceptional job as Semien thought about throwing to first, but did not.
Pretty nice play for a guy who's cold.
Exactly.
So 1 out, and here's Goes. But speaking of those White Sox, they've won 5 in a row. They've won 7 out of 8. And well, you sweep the Blue Jays in Toronto and you shut them down offensively. That is extremely difficult to do.
And we saw a lot of confidence with the Blue Jays over the weekend.
Lowry to Semien, and that's a double play. 4-6-3, and that'll do it. So the leadoff walk, but no damage done, and we're moving to the 8th. 8-3 Detroit.
The Friday Family Pack, you get 4 Plaza level tickets, count 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, 4 bags of peanuts, and it's all just for $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack, subject to availability.
Hey, Ray, let's give those gentlemen right there some credit. Camera guys.
Absolutely.
It's a chilly night, folks, and it's getting colder, and they're hanging in there. Bundled up, working hard.
I thought that first group looked like Tiger Stadium. You talk about cold up on the top.
Well, that's the thing. When you're on the crew, you're going to get a complete game every game.
That's right.
None of this leaving after 6 innings.
CG.
So they're doing a great job.
That's right.
Hanging in there. Strike call, 1-1 to Reddick, who's 0 for 3.
That was called a strike?
That was called a strike.
That's reason to yell from the dugout.
Reddick, Davis, and Lowry against Justin Wilson. Shallow right center, and it is caught by J.D. Martinez. Thought Goes was going to be the guy to catch him, but Martinez just came flying across, went right in front of Goes and made the catch.
And the outfielders have these longer gloves, and this might have helped J.D. Martinez as he reached down and caught it in the webbing. Check it out as he reaches down, and just as a snow cone, only pointed down towards the ground. So that's enough. Bring in another Wilson.
So Wilson is done. He faces 2 hitters, and we got a new pitcher coming in. We'll be back.
By Chris Davis off of Justin Verlander. Look where this landed, above the Al K line, number 6. And a salute by Chris Davis to Ron Washington. High fives all around. That ball estimated close to 450 feet on a cool night here at Comerica Park in Detroit. But Chris Davis crushed one. And I tell you, you talk about a crowd that went quiet, 22,000 plus. They did not do anything except ooh and ah with a long shot that probably not many people have seen hit that far.
So the new pitcher, Drew Verhagen, got a win, high ERA in 10 games.
Does he have 5 runs in him?
Well, 17 hits and 4 walks in 9 1/3 innings. So big, tall right-hander deals to Chris Davis, who takes outside.
Let me ask you something, Cap. You're an astute baseball man.
Hey, hold on, Ray. Marty Foster's now looking into the A's dugout again. Pitch was way outside. It was called a ball. It's Bob Melvin who's having a conversation with Marty Foster.
But do you think sometimes this matchups and lefty righties gets a little bit out of whack? I mean, you start
when it's cold out.
Well, I mean, you have a 5-run lead, and you got 2 pitchers coming in, and you know, one gets a strikeout, the other gets a strikeout, and all of a sudden let's go to the bullpen.
I agree.
Just because there's a right-hander coming up, but
I agree.
I think sometimes it's done a little bit too much.
Yep.
And you know, who's to say this young man, the numbers you just showed and talked about with him, that's 3 straight. And I think sometimes it puts yourself in a position where you're making a closer game when you don't have to. You got some veterans. I mean, the Wilsons are veterans. They've been around.
That went in for a strike, 93 miles an hour. Lowry to follow, one out here in the top of the 8th.
Talking about guys before 1968 had 26, 27 complete games.
Sure.
You didn't have relievers coming in, depending
No.
on what guys did with lefty-righty situations.
Yeah, I was going to say matchups didn't exist.
No.
So full count to Davis. His home run in the 4th was his 3rd of the year. Payoff pitch, here it is. And it's hit in the air and hit well. Martinez back, still going back, and he leaps, and he missed it. And Davis rounds second. Davis is going to go to 3rd, and he's going to have a stand-up triple. So that ball just kept carrying, and J.D. Martinez got back in that little groove area. The wall jets out, and he got a glove on it.
But it's amazing the carry with Chris Davis. I mean, he swings hard, and you're right. This is a home run to maybe 10 feet to the right. Instead, I think J.D. Martinez is feeling for the wall. He couldn't feel anything, just kept drifting. And, you know, you go back, you might hit the wall, but he jumped and fell down, or almost fell down, because the wall wasn't there to brace him.
So Davis with the triple, and now Lowry will try to get him in. Well, to get good carry, Ray, you got to have backspin.
Oh, boy, he's got it.
And he does have it. One and one the count. Lowry is 1 for 3.
He was not really running to second base, and I think he thought he's going to be caught. And then about halfway to second base, he picked it up, and there he took off and realized when the ball did drop, he was going to make the 3rd easily. Really tough for Goes to get over from center field to back up and help out at all. Been nice if he could have got there to tell him you had plenty of room, and he might have caught it. But outfielder feels for the wall. It might be a little bit larger warning track out in that area.
Castellanos will watch that one drop into the 2nd row. So 1 and 2 the count. Lowry doubled and scored in the 7th. He's also struck out twice. Jed looks cold, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He looks cold.
And they're supposed to be warmer on the field because they're moving around.
1-2 pitch, a shot into left and a base hit. And now, folks, it's 8-4.
Yeah, for the first time tonight, the A's got a runner in 3rd, less than 2 outs, and they get him in. Thanks to Jed Lowry, who is very good about doing that. Goes the opposite field with a couple of strikes, waits, and waits well enough to the high fastball away from him. Verhagen gives up a triple and then a base hit past the Diamond Castellanos, who again shifting him to the right side, but throw him a fastball up and away, and he drives it hard to left field.
So now Billy Butler takes his 4th at bat. Good curve that catches the outside corner. Butler had a long double in the 7th inning that scored Lowry. Back-to-back doubles in that inning. Another curve, and that's a good one. 0-2.
Well, if Butler has the numbers against Verlander, we talked about. Same type of pitches coming from this right-hander. Good curveball that he just took, the ball that was on the inner part of the plate. Of course, he's seen Verlander a few more times than Verhagen.
Yeah, obviously there's nobody on this A's team that has seen Verhagen. Nobody's got an at bat against him. Fastball away, now 2-2.
The in-house PA mentioned that the bullpen activity low, the right-hander, Ryan the left-hander, and Ryan Matson for the A's, their right-hander.
Curve tapped up the middle. Iglesias has it, and he'll flip across the diamond to get Billy Butler. Well, maybe Iglesias was going to try to step on second. He was pretty close to second, but he took the sure out at first in Butler. 2 outs.
That's a good point, because it looked like if he had just waited the ball come, he could have stepped on second or even fed it to his second baseman to get the lead runner. So maybe the A's could take advantage of that. I mean, he was just very casual. He didn't even look to second.
Now we're going to get a meeting at the mound as the pitching coach, Rich Doobie, comes out.
How big is that 3-run home run by Victor Martinez?
Yep, you knew it would be. A's with 2 in the 7th and 1 here in the 8th. Alonso, the left-handed hitter.
You think he felt there were 2 outs? Because he did. He did catch
He acted like he thought there were 2 outs, because generally you're going to maybe even glance at second.
And think about it, a double play. Yeah.
Well, that could be costly.
Well, maybe he saw the better Robinson Cano last night do the same thing. He thought there were 2 outs and flipped the ball to first on a double play ball. So maybe the A's could make it hurt by putting a runner in score position.
Well, 0-1 the count to Alonso. Big curve, so Verhagen showing off a pretty good curveball, big over top curve. And that one is driven towards center. Goes hustling back, though. He's going to make the catch. Side retired, hard hit ball by Alonso, but Goes has it. A run for the A's. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's now 8-4. Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 4-8-2 for the A's, 8-8-0 for the Tigers. Sonny Gray, shortest start of his career. He left after 2 innings. Chris Davis with a solo shot, but the real story is a 3-run homer by Victor Martinez and a 3-run homer by J.D. Martinez. 2 big blows in this game, and that has helped the Tigers take an 8-4 lead. Try and win the 3rd game of this series. Day game tomorrow. Listen to Ken Korek, Vince Cotroneo, Ray Fosse on the radio side. You'll also be able to watch it on the MLB Network back in the Bay Area. So here in the bottom of the 8th, Zebczynski, who got a double play to end the 7th inning, will face the top of this Tigers order. 5th time through the lineup. Kinsler has struck out twice. He has walked, he has singled, and he has scored twice. And there's the strike call, and the count is 1-1. Tapped out in front, fair ball. Fegley is very good at that. He pops out from behind home plate. So 1 away. It's good to see Henderson Alvarez with the team. So he's getting close, right?
Yes,
should see him in the month of May. And that's a big deal. This guy's made an all-star team in his career. He's still a pretty young pitcher.
You think about him joining the rotation, and an eye on Friday, and Jesse Hahn getting better down in AAA. So things have been happening and are happening.
Martinez shoots into right center. And Martinez, with those long strides, will have an easy double. So Martinez and his big night continues.
Well, Subjinski with a pitch away. And just as he did earlier in the second inning, a home run to right center, this double to right center, and Coco cutting the ball off, but no chance to hold him to a single.
So that's 9 hits now for the Tigers. And here's Miguel Cabrera. Big series for Cabrera. He is 7 for 11. He's got 2 hits tonight, a single, a double, and he also has a walk. So he's now hitting 270. What was it, Ray?
206.
206
on Monday.
He'll be about 320 when the season's over. As Ray mentioned, the attendance tonight, 22,636. About 10% still here.
Well, I think we've seen exactly what weather does to attendance in this series.
I think it's by far the 3 smallest crowds we've ever seen here in this ballpark.
Exactly.
Diving play. Canna gets up across the diamond, and that's a nice play by Mark Canna, taking a hit away from Cabrera.
Well, here's tonight's Honda Player of the Game, and we hate to say it, but this is the biggest blow in the game. Victor Martinez with 2 runners on via the base hit, and fastball inside, thrown to him by Liam Hendricks, and he deposited it in the right field bleachers. And we saw Chris Davis' ball jump off his bat, and Victor Martinez can do the same, and he proved it. As that was the big blow, because a 3-run shot and a 4-run second, unearned run in the 4th. The A's have scored 4 themselves, and that's how close the game could have been without this home run by Victor Martinez, our Honda Player of the Game.
So Martinez will bat from the right side.
Go back and think about when Prince Fielder played for the Tigers, got that huge contract as a result of Victor Martinez injuring his knee and missing the season. And Victor comes back. The Prince is traded to the Rangers, and kind of back to normal here.
Yeah, that was quite a trade. Kinsler for Prince Fielder.
And probably some money.
Yeah, there was some money, and I think that kicked in this year. The Tigers are paying $30 million to the Texas Rangers to help offset Prince Fielder's contract, which runs quite a bit longer than Kinsler's does. And it's $5 million a year.
Wow.
I guess that would be $6 million a year, and it starts this year. So for the next 5 years,
it was a $200 million contract whenever he signed here, and really it was Mike Ilitch, the owner. Basically, when Victor was out, they needed a DH or somebody to play. Of course, Cabrera ended up going to third, so Prince could actually play first base, which is a very good first baseman.
So it didn't completely match up the contracts that were switched, but some of the money did.
Well, the wild pitch, he brought the glove up this time, and it was scooted through his legs, and the runner able to advance to third, but there are 2 outs. And it looks like they're pitching Victor carefully, and might as well continue to make it careful. There's that good sweet smell again there.
Oh, that is nice.
What are they cooking? Almonds? Whew. Jeff, if you're a good stage man, you would have had us pizza and almonds, but you've given us nothing.
Not too late. 3-1 now to Victor Martinez. So yeah, so that trade, the Tigers are giving the Rangers make it $6 million a year in each of the next 5 years.
Amazing.
And that gets you $30 million.
And Moreland's playing first and Prince is DH.
Yeah. And there's the walk. Walk number 7 by his pitchers tonight.
Well, if they can get Upton out, then that's not a bad walk, because Victor is an exceptional hitter. He finds a way to put the ball in play. And just by doing that, there's always a possibility he can find a hole on the big one in right field with a home run.
Upton is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. He's 1 for 11 in this series, so he's still struggling. The average now at 198. The first pitch is a good one. Fastball on the outer half for a strike.
We talk about players changing leagues and struggling a little bit. I wonder for Upton. I mean, he's played in some pretty good climates. Arizona and San Diego. I mean, that's been pretty nice. And then you come back to the frigid Detroit.
Yeah, he's never played in a cold weather city as his home park.
It's his home park. Yeah, I mean, visiting it's one thing, but you always know you're going back to the warmth.
And he was in Atlanta for a couple years. So
Atlanta. Yeah, thank you.
It doesn't help, put it that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really takes getting used to it. And then you're changing leagues and you're facing pitchers. Sure, you've seen them, but just the league itself, different hotels, different parks, a lot of different things going on.
So 1-2 the count. He's once trailed in this game 8-1, but now it's 8-4. And that one past Fegley, and coming in to score is JD Martinez to make it 9-4.
Well, there's this. Sapczynski did not get to the plate. That ball came back hard. It's a concrete or brick wall behind home plate. It came back quickly to Fegley. There might have been a play at the plate. Watch how hard this ball comes back to Fegley, and Sapczynski just stopped, and Fegley's ready to throw. And that's a big run, a gift run. Martinez coming down the line, but Fegley had nobody to throw it to.
It is a wild pitch. And the 2-2 pitch, a swinging strikeout. Another run for the Tigers. So we go to the 9th inning. Last chance for the A's as they trail 9-4.
Moment with Game Day live game video highlights, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com and BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or your tablet. Yes.
You do what you got to do to stay warm tonight.
He must be warm.
Francisco Rodriguez comes in, the new closer for the Tigers. After a little bit of a slow start ERA-wise, he's 4 for 5 in save opportunities. Came over in a trade in the offseason. Francisco Rodriguez. He was with the trade was with the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, Rodriguez was away from the team for the last 3 days. And the emergency family was it medical emergency family list where you can leave for anywhere between 3 and 7 days. So he is back. He last pitched last Wednesday, so it's been a week for him. He's on the all-time saves list. He is number 6, tied with Eck.
A lot of those with the Angels, and set a major league record for 62 saves in one season. Right now his fastball, you just saw 90 and 89 with his fastball.
Good pitch there, 88 miles an hour.
And his changeup has turned out to be his best pitch. How about that? Because he at one time, and you see his delivery, which has never changed. He's very aggressive on the mound. He kind of throws his whole body and kind of distracting a little bit to the hitter. But he throws a hard curveball, good changeup, and deception more than anything. This is what I mean right there.
So 2-2 the count to Fegley.
This is a curveball, but he has his arms and throws the glove out, the arm out, his legs. He really does not throw as hard as he once did.
And that one gets a pretty good chunk of Bobby Wilson. Not what he needs at this point.
Change up, went straight down, hit him in his left foot. Shin guards go down over his foot, but
well, he had his foot open a little bit.
Yes, he did.
That kind of exposed that inner part of his foot.
Well, it's tough to get down on one knee with 2 strikes anyway, because it's tough to block a ball if you're down on one knee. And with 2 strikes, and Rodriguez, the way he throws, now he's in a proper position.
High pop-up headed for the seats. For Rodriguez, as Ray said, had a lot of good years with the Angels. And he went to New York and then to Milwaukee. The Brewers traded him to Baltimore, and then he went back to Milwaukee after that. He signed back and then traded this past off season. He's 34 years old, Francisco Rodriguez. Not close, 3-2.
I'm sure Brad Ausmus wanted to bring him in to at least get some work after being away from the club for 3 days. Melvin, Marcus Simeon on deck. Trying to get Fegley on to start the inning.
And a good pitch there. So he gets the strikeout, and that's 1 out here in the 9th inning.
That's called looking for more than what you're getting. Registered at 88 is almost like just a BP fastball. Got the job done, even though it took him a few pitches to do it.
So 1 away. Here's Simeon. Seems like the Tigers, Ray, have been kind of searching for a closer for a while now. Joe Nathan did not work out quite as well as they had hoped. So Simeon Hits that one right off the end, 0-2. Al Avila, the general manager, a couple boosts down from us.
His first year in that capacity and trying to get his club off to a good start.
0-2 pitch, and Simeon went around. Back-to-back strikeouts here at the top of the ninth.
Not a safe situation, just some work for Francisco Rodriguez, and there's your changeup. And set the record in 2008. Just looking with the Mets after that, I think there was some contractual. I want to say it's Artie Moreno, the owner of the Angels, finally just said let him go, because he was trying to use. They ended up signing with the Mets in a big contract.
He wanted a monster contract.
Yeah, and Artie Moreno, a lot of credit for just say basically, see ya.
Toward right, Martinez is there, and that's the ball game. So game 3 of this series goes to the Detroit Tigers. They used the long ball, a couple of big 3-run homers, the difference in this game. Took 3 hours and 23 minutes in front of 22,636. Final score tonight from Comerica Park. It's the Tigers 9 and the A's 4. You've been watching A's Baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's Post Game Live with Brody Brazil and Pip Roberts starts right now.